He's like, he looked so much happier on the before picture.
I never saw that.
After picture. I was like, shit. He's like smiling and all that. I was like, where we're at, we just don't want to rush into anything now. It's like, yeah, we did that, we honored her, and now it's like, what do we want to truly do with that money, and like, what do we want to open up where we can help people and on different levels, like on the survival level of feeding, but also on the other level of like healing emotional wounds or mental wounds.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another BTR podcast. Today, we're joined by another very special guest, reunited with a good friend of ours. He's a fitness enthusiast and a fitness trainer, and he is a former national soccer player, also a big sports junkie like us in a way, mainly basketball. And he's also probably known as Jazzy B's nephew mainly. So, but it's Pardeep Bains, but we'll refer to him as Pardeep.
He is Pardeep.
How's it going, brother?
Yo, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Been a while, man. How you been doing?
Oh, doing great, man. Great. Just doing my coaching stuff and just taking care of my own self. You know, making sure that I take care of myself so I can take care of my clients as well. So
yeah,
I've been doing a lot of that work. So
those of you who don't know, when I started, because Pardeep used to be at Fit Nation before he started doing his own thing. He was my first trainer essentially.
Yeah.
Like that was the first spot I went to work out by my personal trainer. So the reason why I was in shape was because of Pardeep.
Yeah.
Slowly, Joban came involved, and then we'll get into their little mini beef.
Well, I got actually a funny story about Amrit here, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to get into it right now or you want me to
we'll get into it later.
on.
We have stories later.
Okay.
We'll remind you
Okay.
to it. We'll hold you to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And yeah, eventually our parents got involved, so we had a good little
Full family
Absolutely,
fitness
man. Absolutely.
bond, friendship grew
I think
too.
I think that's my style, right? Is to make it, because I don't just look at you as a business transaction, right, or just a client or whatever the case is. Like, you guys are real human beings, right? You guys got desires and goals and stuff like that. So I want to get to know you on a human level, so I can actually understand you, and then that way I know how to actually communicate to you guys.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That matters a lot to me. That you guys feel like it's an environment where you feel safe and it feels like home, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what my approach always is, and hopefully you guys felt that too, right?
No, we'll get into that in more detail for a second. Yeah, that vibe was sick when we were there, all of us.
Yeah.
And obviously, when I went there at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., all we talked about was ball and everything.
Yeah.
Sports and joking around.
Sports and joking around, man. That's
all it is.
It always brings everyone close, right? So.
All right, we're gonna, like always, like how we do at every guest pod, we're gonna get into some quick fire questions, rapid fire.
Okay, that's how we're gonna start.
Hopefully bring it up.
All right.
But
first one is just favorite sports.
Outside of fitness.
Basketball, easily.
100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, without a doubt, man.
Watch and play?
Watching, learning about the game, understanding the X and O's, like why teams play certain defenses, why certain, like what coverages. I try to understand the whole thing about
the whole
basketball.
game, right?
Yeah, it's
like not just, this person's the best player in the league, or this person's trash, or this person's the GOAT, or whatever. It's like what makes them tick, right?
Yeah.
Right. And how can they take advantage of the other team and stuff like that? So I try to understand it on like a deeper level, you could say.
Any close second?
Well, it used to be soccer because I played it growing up, but now it's just like I've lost like complete interest. But I would say football.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching football. So
favorite teams growing up?
So initially growing up, I was a big Michael Jordan guy. The Bulls. I mean, I was probably, when he retired, I was 7 years old. Not his first time retired, or second time retired, 98. And I remember him hitting that shot over Russell in the Utah Jazz game in Game 6. I remember there used to be this store called Shoestrings. And I would like go looking for Michael Jordan's jersey, but it would be sold out all the time. So growing up, Michael Jordan was my favorite player. And then once he retired and LeBron came in, it was it after that.
Any favorite teams on other sports? And so you're obviously a Bulls fan, you said, right? Or
was at that time.
Okay.
But now I would say I'm a Cavs fan, just because LeBron brought me to that team.
Or are you a bandwagon Lakers fan?
I am. I think I'm a fan of the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
And because LeBron's my favorite player and he's on the Lakers, I naturally am gonna support the Lakers now as well, right? So
other teams and other sports?
Football, Chiefs, Packers. I loved because Rodgers was there.
Yeah.
Michael Vick was my favorite player.
Oh, okay.
He was incredible. So I was an Atlanta Falcons fan. So you can pretty much say I'm more of a fan of players than the actual like teams or like allegiance to a team. Or whatever, right. My brother was a big Colts guy. And he still is to this day. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, no, I think I met him at Fat Nation when we were all there and we were talking about it.
Yeah. Die hard.
Took a depressing L today.
Oh,
very
tough. Yeah.
I blame the refs.
I don't think you guys want to get into that.
Yeah.
But we'll move on.
Yeah, we should. Favorite players you already mentioned, I guess. So we'll move on to that.
Yeah.
We'll go with favorite food.
Favorite food? Oh, pizza. I love pizza, man.
Classic.
Oh my God. And chicken wings.
All right.
Pizza and chicken wings.
What about Punjabi food?
Aloo parathe, man.
Aloo parathe.
That's not even close. Aloo parathe.
I thought you were gonna with the classic butter chicken naan.
No.
Vegetarian shahi paneer naan.
Aloo parathe.
Yeah, no, that's me.
Is that your guilty pleasure, basically?
So, I can't eat it now because I got a wheat intolerance.
Okay.
But
back in the day,
just like it's been a few months now, so I can't eat it as much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on this intolerance so I can really eat aloo parathe. So that's really why I'm trying to get a tolerance to wheat.
Cheat meal? I know you guys don't really believe in it.
I just kind of eat whatever. I don't really have like a favorite cheat meal, but I have a sweet tooth, man. I love chocolate.
Okay.
I love chocolate. Like just dairy milk, caramel, like
all those.
I don't know if Boston Pizza still has it, but the panuki that they used to have,
Yeah.
back in the day.
That was
my
the
hot and the cold mix.
Bruh,
game over.
Yeah. I feel like snacks are just it's too tough to avoid.
Yeah, like
cookies.
there's chips. Chips
Cookies.
are good. Cookies are good.
Yeah.
But I just like it's just kind of like kade theek,
Yeah. Hobby outside of like sports and obviously coaching.
Hobby outside of sports, I would say I enjoy. I mean, there's quite a few things. I love playing PlayStation. Like PS5, 2K. Again, I just play
2K.
basketball games.
Trust me, like we're not really gamers, but if we do play, it's always sports games. The odd occasion I played like the random Fall Guys, but I've never been a shooter game. I've always been sports games.
We're trash. Our KD is probably like negative 5,000. Like every time we play, like say we play our cousins or anything. Like, it just like I think I was like celebrating because I think I had 0 kills and 9 deaths one game, right? And we're playing some team thing with my old friends. And then everyone else had like, like 10 kills, like 10 deaths or anything over. And I was celebrating. I was like, yo, I may have not killed anyone, but I died the least amount of times. So
so hobby, I would say it's video games. I like going to the park, playing basketball, and like just like kind of just taking care of myself, go and do sprints and stuff like that.
So still even your hobbies are sports
like,
related.
Even my hobbies are just related to what I enjoy, right? It's just kind of like I don't really like to. There's no drawing or anything like that.
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
Yeah. So
favorite movie.
Oh man, that's tough.
You could say a series if you want, like a movie series.
I got actually a few.
Okay.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Happy Gilmore is one of the funniest movies of all time. Bob Barker just passed away.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But Happy Gilmore, Rush Hours.
Okay. Yeah, Rush Hours.
Remember Rush Hours?
Was it you? Like that scene. It's like,
dude,
if
that movie came out now,
it
would get cancelled. Canceled,
yeah,
right?
They do. It will 100% get canceled.
Like Rush Hours and Happy Gilmore, I would say, is up there. But then there's like the other ones too, man. Like what was the other one? Taken. I don't know if you've seen those ones. Those thrillers. So there's a lot of good movies, but Happy Gilmore, I would say, is
Rush. Aren't they coming with another Rush Hour? I thought I heard something about it.
They said that they were going to, but
it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same,
right?
Yeah.
So
it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. It's going to be like this freaking cancel culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff, right?
Bro,
so Gen Z, Rush Hour.
To this day, I like spend like make sure I search up that scene every time.
Oh yeah.
That scene cracks me up every single time.
Not even just watching like the pictured version of it, like just on Instagram, you see a meme of that. It's just hilarious.
Oh man, I watched it like so many times. And it's just like if I started saying the dialogues right now,
Might get cancelled.
Yeah, no.
Podcast is over. I'm gonna put an end to it. Cancel BTR.
Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? I don't really watch them as much anymore. But growing up, it was like the '70s show.
Yeah.
Home Improvement. I don't know if you guys remember these shows. This is making me feel
I've
like
heard
I'm
of them.
old.
I've never watched it. I've never watched them.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I have a lot of favorite TV shows.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah. Just
Like I grew up on like the Family Channel, the Disney Channel.
Oh,
mainly.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Zack and
Simpsons,
Cody.
yeah.
Like I've watched all of that.
Yeah.
Recently, like Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I would say Cobra Kai are the two that I've
Yeah.
watched. I'm not a TV series guy
Yeah,
either.
I'm not a TV person.
Like I've never watched
Yeah.
like Prison
Yeah.
Break and all that. Like I know everyone's gonna be like
Yeah.
it's sick, right? I'm like
Yeah.
I know it is. I just don't
Yeah.
want to. I didn't want to waste time into.
Yeah.
Like I'm a guy that will get hooked, and then I'm gonna be screwed.
Like
Bro,
I'd rather watch like YouTube.
Yeah.
Same.
sports.
Same.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's just
The
like-
thing with me is like if I watch like the first episode,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sleep until like
yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then if I start watching
Yeah.
all these other shows,
Yeah.
I'm failing school.
Yeah.
I'm getting kicked out, basically.
Shit,
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah. Like Cobra Kai, we were up to like 4 a.m. Finished.
Yeah.
But it was a good
Yeah.
thing it was on a winter break.
Right,
But yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Favorite, like if you have any Punjabi movies that you like.
If you're into
I
it.
don't really watch Punjabi movies that much.
Yeah.
So I don't really have Punjabi movie.
All right, and then
But Punjabi da bol lende
last one will probably favorite Punjabi and or English singer / rapper.
Probably my chacha.
Yeah, that's a default answer.
That's a default. Hey, outside of him.
Probably like Chamkila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know. I felt like he was like the realist. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Engli-
it's like Tupac for me.
Oh, okay.
Like he was just so real.
All right, I'm sure add this last one in. What would you say your favorite position is in like basketball?
I play point guard, so I
Yeah.
would say point guard because I can instruct
Yeah.
like the offense and what I want to happen out there and stuff like that. Even when I play 2K, that's like a big part of it.
Yeah.
You're trying to create an advantage essentially, right? So I would say point guard.
I'm guessing you were a center mid then in soccer too?
I
that's similar vibe.
So I was center mid in like my club teams, but like when I played for like the provincial team and stuff like that, I was a winger.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
So it was just like, so it was like kind of both winger, striker, and center mid. Depending on what the team kind of needed, I played that role.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Let's get right into it. We'll get into the personal journey stuff. We'll get into the fun topics after.
Yeah.
But off the bat, why did you start working out? When did you start working out? And ultimately, how did you get into it?
So I think it's important how I started, like, working out is just something that I just naturally enjoyed. I was really skinny growing up, really skinny. And it's kind of crazy how this kind of all ties together. We had a meeting with our U16 provincial team coach. We were in Mexico at this time, and he kind of like was having a players meeting, right, with each individual player, telling them like, hey, this is what your strengths are, this is what we need to work on and stuff like that. And he's like, because I was really skinny, he's like, yo, you need to put on weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to start working out, right? And he did this like kind of curl action. I was like, okay, but I don't actually know what to do. What do you mean, like, start working out, right? I mean, I didn't know at that time to say that, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever, we come back from Mexico and go show up to school, and I'm just doing bicep curls. Obviously, like, that actually has nothing to do with soccer and adding weight and getting stronger and stuff like that. So, essentially, like, that was like a kind of, you could say, a spark, right? But naturally, I just wanted to get stronger. I just wanted to kind of learn about it and just kind of improve my body. And just at that point, it was like aesthetics and getting stronger, right? So a lot of people actually helped me out at that point, right? Like my cousin helped me out when I first initially started working out. Ben helped me out, right? We just kind of would go to this place called the Garage and we'd work out there, right? We just do bodybuilding style type of workouts. So that's how I initially kind of got into working out. But I wouldn't say that's why I got into coaching. But I would say that's why I got into working out.
I mean, same
which
as
is
me.
different.
It's the same as me.
So
I was too skinny.
Yeah.
I come to you guys information, and that's how like where I learned and like started doing it basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was the opposite. I needed to lose weight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you already mentioned soccer growing up. Was the plan always not always at that time, I guess, before because we'll get into your coaching journey in a second as well.
Yeah.
But was the plan, because you said you played nationals, or provincials and stuff.
Yeah, provincials. Yeah.
Were you planning on becoming a soccer player?
Well, yeah. You think you're gonna kick it all the way and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, there's like, for me, it was every time I got close to taking the next step, something always came up and happened that stopped me from, taking the next step, right? So I'll give you an example. Back then, there used to be this national training center thing that they used to have here. It's called NTC. So each provincial team would get, the coaches would select certain players that would be a part of this NTC camp or whatever, right? And I remember there being a camp in January, I think it was, and that camp I absolutely played unbelievable, to the point where I was selected to, there was like 15 players that were selected to play. I think it was like Surrey United U18 team. Mind you, I was like 16 at that time. So you're selected, and then if you really shined in that game, you would obviously get chosen to go into the next camp of like the actual national team camp. The game gets canceled. It snows.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
And that's just one example. Yeah. Every time we get close, something would happen. But it was also like, this is more of a personal thing. There was always like traumas that I faced that stopped me from really shining in soccer. Yeah. So I had the physical abilities, but mentally, because my central nervous system was going through a lot and my own body was going through a lot, there was this fear, not of like soccer, but just fear in general. And it would affect me when I would play. So sometimes I wouldn't even be present while playing soccer. Like, I'd be absent-minded, right? Yeah. Not that I didn't have the physical abilities, it was just the mental part of it, right, that stopped me from kind of taking soccer as far as I needed. And there's always like, there's a lot of luck involved, right, as well, right? But so I would say there was always some sort of blockage for me to go take it to the next level. But now, like, being in this perspective, I understand why, right? Because I got into things that, this is what I was supposed to do. This is where I was supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be, helping people and guiding people and stuff like that. So I don't look at it as like, oh man, I didn't make it. It's like, it wasn't that. Everything I learned from soccer is actually valuable in terms of what I do in coaching and stuff like that, right? So
did you also? So you said you kind of lost touch with soccer as a sport. Like I know you.
Yeah.
I know
there's a lot of politics involved in soccer too.
Not just like obviously not just but like when you watch soccer, you say you're not into it as much as you once were. Yeah. Was it just because of this you got burnt out?
Yeah,
as well?
You get burnt out,
and you got into basketball a lot more because of it.
You get burnt out, right? And, it's just like, it just tires you out, man. It just like takes your love away from the game, and it's just like, there's so many factors in it. It's just like the politics obviously plays a big role, right? And it's like, I'm not blaming other people. Just like, I'm just saying that it's just a reality, right? Like, I take responsibility in the sense that if I wasn't dealing with the stuff, I probably could have gone further, but that's okay. Like, I accept that, right?
There's a point where like you said, those like those blockages are coming in your way. It's like at one point it was like, is the universe just telling you to like move on, or is the universe telling or testing you, like like that's probably like the hardest decision you have to make, right?
And it's like when you lose that love and passion and like your spirit isn't there and you like kind of like checked out, it's time to move on and just accept the reality of the situation.
I'm gonna say it perfectly. It's like, you play sports, even if you're good enough to play professional, that's a bonus. But you essentially play the sport for having fun. And if you're not having fun, then A, it's either you figure out why you're not having fun and make it fun, or 100%. B, you move on. And obviously that's the case.
And I'm like truthful with myself, right? Like, if I'm not good at something, I will say I am actually not really good at that. Like, I was like, when I say I was really good at soccer, I was really good at soccer. Like, I'm not saying that as an ego thing. It was just like a fact, right? But it was like, there's a point where it just kind of like, what I was going through stunted my development. So I couldn't get any better because of the mental blockages and stuff like that, right?
So ultimately, how did all that lead you into coaching? Because obviously the soccer dream is now dead.
What actually got me into coaching was my U15 provincial team coach, Rob Chabai.
Okay.
Derek knows about Rob Joban. He will say that this guy is the man. The way he spoke to his team, the culture he created, the environment that he created for his team, I have never seen a coach do that. Like, we grew up playing soccer. We had, not to take a shot at the volunteer coaches and stuff like that, but they were uncles trying to figure it out, right? They didn't have the emotional intelligence. They just yelled and screamed at you and just like
goal kar de.
Goal kar de, right? Like they never like related to you on a human level, right? And they never take responsibility of their own self. Like, we didn't do a good job of coaching and stuff like that. Like, so the way Rob spoke to me and like the confidence that he instilled in me, it was like having like a father figure as your coach, right? And he was like very nurturing and very caring. I was like, I've never had a coach like that. I didn't even know that this was even a thing because I wasn't ever like exposed to that, you could say. Yeah. Right? So I remember one time we were in Portland and I think we were up 3-0 and I was had a great first half, and in the second half like the ball I just didn't get the ball a lot. It's not that I was like pouting or anything like that. It was just that I remember we drove back, we got to the hotel, we were in the bus, he stops me, he's like, hey, that second half was on me. You were rolling, I should have got you the ball more. I was like, okay, wow, that's amazing. Like, thanks for that confidence that like you have in me to like be like, hey, we should have played through you. I was like, that's amazing for you to say that. Like, who says that, right? Like, what coach is like takes responsibility like that and kind of is like, wow, right? That's just one example that happened to me. He did that with a lot of the players, right? That's just what happened with me. And then we never lost that year. We just lost one game, right? And it was just the environment and the chemistry. Like, we talk about chemistry a lot. Like, like teams have bad chemistry, that like, all about that in sports. Like, what makes that happen? It starts with the coach, right? It starts with that. So that stayed with me, right? That was like, if I ever get into some form of coaching, that's how I want to coach.
So why a fitness coach, or why not a soccer coach, for example?
Well, soccer, I lost the love for it, right?
Or another sport, for
soccer, I lost the love for it. Personal training was like that's something I enjoy doing, because it's like, it's not just like, you're just trying to get someone jacked. You're helping them like learn about their body, why their body can't do something. Is it because of an anatomy thing, or is it because there's a limitation that they have, or they just they don't have the awareness to learn the movement. So it's like, that's why I kind of got into the personal training aspect of it, because I enjoy that stuff, like fixing movements, being very detail oriented. That stuff matters to me a lot.
And also like probably building relationships.
That's huge, man. Like personal relationships is like how he was, like, it's like get to know them on a human level first. Right. Like, he took time to get to know us, like actually get to know us. Right. And he would tell us stories about how, like my friend Sile, like, I don't know if you know Sile Sandhu, right? But he was on the team as well. And he would tell us about like how brown kids, they're the most talented kids, but something always gets in the way. Right. He's like, they just can't get over that hump. Right. And it's like, it's like me understanding why there is, because like, there's just like the environments that these kids grow up in, right? It's not always ideal, right? So there's always something stopping them from kind of taking that next step.
Speaking of that talent, not just for soccer, because obviously that's what you grew up on,
that's what but
anything sports you've seen. And I've asked this to all our guests, right, from Jeevan to Derek to Ben and everyone, and Amr. How much talent do you see in the Punjabi community, especially in Surrey, that you're like, damn, if only these guys were. Now, granted, there's limitations, right? Maybe some people don't have that education now, as much as it is now. Like, just for someone like Jeevan, to it was one of you guys. But you were like, damn, this guy's a solid basketball player. This girl's a great field hockey player. If only they could have gotten scouted some way, they could have gone next level. Like, there is a lot of talent here.
There is. Like, no doubt. I think it just keeps getting better too, right? Not saying that like we weren't talented at our time. It's just like everyone. It's just, it keeps getting better and better and better and better, right? So I think the talent level is there. I think it's just up here, right? Like,
even for your guys,
we talk about the Mamba mentality and all that stuff, right? Like, you guys have a book right there. Right? It's just like, what does it actually mean? Right? Like, what does that actually mean? What it means is being fully present, right? With what you're doing, you have full awareness of yourself, right? And that's the type of stuff that, like, like I try to teach people as well, right? Right? Like, you have to be fully present, but not just like saying, oh, just be present. It's like, nah, like, what does that actually mean? How do you get there, right? Like, how do you get to being present? How do you get to being aware of yourself and not let thought stop you from kind of keep going or whatever the case is, right? So
so when you got into coaching now, you're officially on board. Before Fit Nation even came into play. Were you doing other jobs? And then eventually you realized
it was crazy, man. Yeah, sorry. You want to?
Oh no, I was saying like, weren't you when were you working other jobs, and when did you realize like, okay, I could officially do this full time? Kind of like us on this podcast, like we have other jobs. Like eventually we want to do this full time. Same thing with other businesses, right? Like in this case for you, the fitness.
Yeah. So coach. In 2012 is when I finished my. Was it 2012? Yeah, it was 2012. I finished my personal training certificate, and I just started training people in, I think it was like April or May or whatever it was, 2012. At the same time, so I was just initially starting. So first you only have like, I only had like, one client, then you get 2 clients, then you get 3 clients, then you get 4. I was like, yo, this is amazing. I'm getting paid for doing what I love. This is insane. They're giving me money to do what I love. What is going on here, right? But it wasn't obviously enough yet for me to support myself, right? Yeah. So I was, at that same time, I was working with my dad, right? As I was building my clientele. And I remember, I think it was like August of 2012, and I had an ad up on Craigslist, and this client messaged, or potential client at that point, and it was a Craigslist ad, and she's like, she wanted to do an assessment, consultation, and all that. Did the consultation assessment. September she started, so now I have 5 clients. I was like, this is unreal. Like I got 5 clients now, okay? And after that, she just started referring people. Like she was telling everyone. So after after like a couple months, end of October, I have like 15 clients now, right? Because she's just told everyone, like, and I was like, yo, and at that point I stopped working with my dad and all that, and I was like, yo, I'm actually just doing this now. Like, so it just kind of like, it just started happening. It's not like, it just like, it's almost like life wanted me to do this, right? And ever since then I haven't like kind of looked back. So I haven't really worked any other job since.
Where were you training them?
Oh, this was mobile training, man. Okay. So I'd have like a backpack. Yeah. You go to them? Like for like a few kettlebells. Yeah. And I just go to them, meet them at the park, the condo, their house, wherever, man. I just wanted to just do it, right? Man. I didn't care like how much it it was like, I gotta charge for time. I didn't care about. I just doing what I loved, right? Yeah. And I was like, this is amazing, man. So it was kind of like, that's how it officially
started. You're like, that's when you realize like, I could do this full time. I don't have to worry about outside factors. No, 100%. Life is a different situation. Eventually you met 2 guys. You're one of the co-founders of Fit Nation. Before you ultimately parted ways. But what was it like working as, like, you had 15 people, so was it like, hey Ben, hey Jazz, let's get to let's just work together, we have enough people?
I think it was just like like we didn't get together till like 2014. I would say. It was just kind of operating under the name Fit Nation. Everyone was doing their own thing, had their own clients.
Oh, so you were like separate. You were still together, but like separated.
Like still had your own clients. Oh, it wasn't like it wasn't like, it wasn't like business. How Fit Nation Stronghouse was, where everything was like together. That wasn't there yet. That didn't happen until when we actually essentially got into Fit Nation Stronghouse, like when it opened up, right? So at that point, it was just kind of like you had your own clients, and that's it. You do your own thing, kind of thing, and then you're just kind of building up the name, right? With that, right? So
what was that transition like when you? So the funny story here is, I started going Fit Nation, like we mentioned. Joban started. I brought him in. Eventually, your parents joined, right? Yeah. And when we stopped, because life obviously happens. Literally a month or 2 later, we're like, Pardeep, obviously you left, right? And again, we're not gonna get to a situation why you left. Like that's a personal story if there is anything. But I mean, Joban and I, and we said to you before we hit record, we were talking. I'm like, we're gonna take this as like, cause Joban and I and mom and dad left. That like, especially
you're the reason.
We're the reason why you left. And he missed us so much that he has to do his own thing.
Man, I was so hurt that I had to leave too. You left me no choice.
But ultimately, what was that transition like? First alone, then in a team, and then now you're back alone training again.
I mean, it was interesting. It was like a college experience, right? Because you're learning about business, right? You're learning about marketing. You're learning about how to run a business and stuff like that. You're learning how to get clients in a different way, and you're setting up packages, and you're setting up like you're trying to how can we maximize quote profits, but how can we maximize the service and benefit the clients too, right? Because you don't want to just be steering one way or the other. You want to actually create something that is valuable to clients. So and it was like we were working on that together, right? So yeah, that's what it is. It's different because you're just you're working on a business too, right? You're not just working on getting clients. You're working on how you're going to expand the business, how we're going to grow this. So you're working on a multitude of things. It's not just coaching anymore, right? It's just a whole aspect to it, right? It becomes much bigger than that. And then everyone has their certain roles and stuff like that, and you gotta do your job, essentially, as Bill Belichick says. Do your job, right? And do it at a high level, right? So that's what my always is like, how can I figure out how to be really, really damn good at what I do in terms of and providing the most value. Yeah. Right. That's literally it. So
So obviously you parted ways, life happens, everyone, it goes with everyone.
Mind you, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just left.
And you started online coaching, you said, for a little bit. Yeah. And then transitioned back to personal training, but this time at your house. Yeah. So what's that? What was the online coaching like? How does online coaching work, if people are wondering?
Yeah, it's just more so just like you're creating programs. You're giving a client a program and stuff like that. Yeah. Even there was a big blockage for me that made me stop doing the online coaching part, was because I can't actually help their form. I don't know what their form looks like and stuff like that. And it's just so I kind of steered away back from that a little bit. I'm like, I'll revisit this later. Yeah. When I'm ready to kind of go into that. Because again, if I can't give my heart to it, I'm not going to do it. It's not that I won't dive into it. Yeah. Yeah. I will dive into it.
It's like you're writing out this whole brochure or whatever for these, and then it's like, okay, but then you don't want them to be like, hey, it's not working. What do you mean? Right?
Exactly.
But you're like, okay, well, I can't be there with you. You have to know how to do it yourself. I'm sure I'm guessing videos are involved. Like you do a video. Yeah. At the same time, it's like you can't control how much, and you don't know physically, maybe like in person you saw me different, like you told me like, hey, you need to go to hinge your back properly, you might have to go to a chiropractor or a physio, right? Whereas in that case you really
those suggestions weren't there, basically.
No. And you can't okay, is this actually exerting the person, right? You can tell them go till 2 reps to failure, go close to as failure as you can without going it. But it's like, oh, what if they don't have enough weight at home? It's just there's a lot of factors involved, right? So it's just kind of oh well.
How much did COVID impact that, not just the online business, but when you're gyms in general, everyone had situations?
I mean,
did it screw you over too for a bit?
Yeah, for the first when it first came. Yeah. What was it the first
2020, March 2020?
2020. Yeah. It was closed, right? You're not really doing anything, so everyone was impacted. Yeah. Right, and it's just kind of crazy now thinking back at it. Did that really happen?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Honestly, COVID it feels like it's not a thing, and it felt like the time went by fast. Yeah, but slow at the same time. It's because you could have done a lot of other. Yeah, it was exactly
like a blip, right?
What was that?
But for you said when you left Fit Nation, you didn't plan on maybe doing a full-time coaching thing. I don't know. You said
I had just I was. So you were I was just burnt out. I left, and it's just kind of okay, I actually have no idea what I want to do. So I didn't really do much. I was learning about different things that I was learning about business, learning about stocks, and I just started learning about different shit. It was just fun. I wasn't thinking about it. And then in 2019 February, my friend Aaron, who's also a client of mine, we kind of had a conversation. She's like, why don't you coach again? Right? Yeah. And I was like, what? I had to kind of look into that. I was like, why am I not coaching, or whatever the case is, right? So she was right. She's like, why? I should be coaching and stuff like that, right? So it's just that energy that I was feeling, the burnt out, was gone by then anyways, right? So it's just when I got back into it, I think in April, I think it was a couple months later of 2019, that was it. That was all right, this is actually really, really fun again.
Yeah. Right? So sometimes you need just that break. If you're burnt out, and it's everything. You need breaks in life. Obviously you were at Nation, and even before that, you've been doing it since 2012. Yeah. Obviously, social media people, from what we see, have the startup is going to be insane because you want to get going and get big or get noticed. Then you can start taking slow breaks, and then you could realize hey, like you said, I do miss it. I want to get back into it. You go back into it, you enjoy it, and you stick it. Like it's just like I think it's just natural life process, right?
It is, man. Yeah,
it's like the building up process is just starting is so tough. Anything.
It is anything, man. Yeah. Anything is like there's nothing easy. Everything is a challenge, man. Like there's nothing that comes easy, right? So it's okay. You just accept the fact that it's challenging, right? The nature of life is to challenge you, essentially, right?
It's literally like this Nike slogan, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Literally, man.
Just do
That's it, man.
Plan it out, obviously. You just don't go with like head cut off and just
do exactly,
anything. But couple of last things with the coaching side of things.
Yep.
How important as a coach, though, is like your philosophy. You should learn new styles. Like it's not like my way or the highway. For example, maybe when in 2012 you're like, it's all about lifting, blah, blah, blah. But maybe now you're like running needs to be involved or certain things. So how important is it for you to learn? And did you learn, what stuff did you learn that you realized, okay, maybe this might not be the way, this, I have to adjust it like this and stuff like that.
Basically what I learned was that there is no one size fits all program. Yeah. Right? There's no best diet. There's no best training program. Yeah. There's no one way to do it. Right? So I think it comes down to the multitude of things, right? You have to kind of like figure out what the individual wants and needs. So you have to really kind of get to know them and what their actually goals are and stuff like that, right? That matters a hell of a lot, right? Because you can't just be like, oh, well, I like squats and deadlifts and this is the only thing we're going to do because that's what, I've been learning. Yeah, it's like you have to put your own biases, ego aside because it's not about you. It's actually about the client and them and the people that are coming in. It's like, are you actually really listening to them or are you just hearing them be like, all right, whatever, I'm just going to do whatever I want, right? Obviously, there's a component of like, what exercises are best for them, right? And you put that in, but there's no like one size fits all program anymore, right? Like I think you grow and evolve as a coach. That's the natural part of it, right? Like you have to. You can't just be stuck in your ways, right? Or else you get just kind of weaned out. Right, you have to grow and evolve. I think that goes to any level of coaching. Right? Basketball, like Greg Popovich has been able to stick around for so long because he's grown and evolved with the game. Right, even Bill Belichick, he's grown and involved with the game. He's not coaching the same way he was in like.
And then 96. You have like Stan Van Gundy's or the old school guys that don't have a job because they're going to their old ways.
Yeah, they're stuck in their own ways, right? So you can't be stuck in your own ways. I think that's my biggest thing. Is just like. It's not about me. It's not, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with them. It's like how can I maximize their ability? And it's like a lot of coaches do get insecure. A lot of coaches do it's my way or the highway and stuff like that, right? And they start blaming the clients for when they don't see results or whatever the case is, or why they're not performing. It's like it's nobody's fault. You're trying to figure out. You're problem solving in real time. You're trying to come to a actual solution, right? Even diets, people get caught up in their own diets and be like, oh, no, keto's the best. No, plant-based is the best. It's like, well, it worked for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for them. Yeah. Right? So it goes down to that there's no best anything, but there's something that is ideal for you.
For me personally, also like exercise in general is like the best program or best form of exercise is the one you could do consistently. Yeah, right. That's like if you're just playing sports, play sports, right? If it's like working out, different like full body training, do the full body workouts, do the push, pull, leg spread, whatever. Yeah, just whatever you could do consistently. That's it. Right? That's it.
That's why most of my clients do full body workouts because they can only work out 2 times a week or 3 times a week, right? Why would I do chest day, back day, leg day? Like it doesn't make sense, right? We're gonna do full body 2 to 3 times a week, and that covers. You're good for the week, right? So. Yeah, I mean, there's no ideal, there's no best thing. It's a lie.
What are your thoughts on like that though, right? Because like when I started with you guys, I learned about the flexible eating, right? Yeah. And I told people, I could still eat ice cream. I don't have to be on a diet. But it's like instead of having like 2 scoops, it's like half a scoop, for example, right?
In moderation.
In moderation. So obviously you're a big a fan of that, right? Like it doesn't have to be keto or it doesn't have to be like no sugar, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the working out. Like because I had no knowledge of how to work out in high school. I started working out after high school and I had no clue. Like people I went to school with, at university with, they were like, all right, this day it's back, next day it's legs, next day it's chest, right? Whereas when I went to you guys, and that's what I know, and that's what I still try to do to this day, is squat and bench one day, next day you squat and overhead press, next day you do deadlift and cardio with weight, right? So I stick by that when I try to work out. So but do you get the other side when people say they do the back and chest day or the leg?
Oh yeah.
Do you agree with that still?
Oh yeah.
Or are you fine with like how they do it? It's not like
no. I am okay with however you want to do your training program or training split. Right?
Yeah.
And so much of that depends on how many times a week you want to go work out.
Yeah.
Right? Like some people don't want to work out 5 to 6 times a week.
Yeah.
So they'll do a full body, right? They'll do a knee exercise, knee dominant exercise, a hinge exercise, push, a pull, right? A press. They'll do all these things in one workout and get it done with like 2 to 3 times a week, and they're like, that's it, that's good enough.
So there's no wrong answer.
There's no right way, but there's like if you identify with what your philosophy and you think it's the best, then you're not really open to
because I feel
other
like
ways of what's ideal for everyone else.
Because I feel like some people like I talk to in general are like, no, what the hell, why are you doing CrossFit? The full body, it should be like this. And then whereas I'm like, okay, well, this is what I learned from you guys, but like you guys said, when you were at Fit Nation and now you were at alone, because I want to speak of my experience, and my experience was Fit Nation, but it's like the best way is to how your clients want to do it, right? Essentially, and most of it is like you said, the full body. Whereas like with me, I still stick by that. I prefer it that way. Whereas Joban did his own research during COVID, for example, and he mixes what you guys taught him, but he prefers the.
I add in like more exercises. Yeah, because like it's just like for me, it's like I like to switch it up because, obviously deadlift, a lot more taxing, right? So like try to hit the back in a different ways, right?
100%.
Like that. That's where I try to transition to a little bit.
Yeah. So. For me, a lot of that's changed too, right? Like my clients will not everyone deadlifts. Yeah. Not everyone squats. It just depends on the person's body, right? Are they even capable of doing a back squat? It's like, no, everyone has to line up and do a back squat. It's like, no, that's not the case, right? So there's not everyone can do a squat properly based on their anatomy and all that stuff, right? Like how tight are their ankles, right? How's their ankle mobility? If their ankle mobility is not good, they're probably not going to be able to squat very well. Right? Yeah. So there's a lot of factors as into what goes into actually creating a training program, right? And what is actually ideal for someone. So it's not just like a one size fits all. So like you going and looking into other exercise and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, that's great. Yeah. You should do more of that. You know what I mean? Like I don't like one person, if one of my clients can't do Bulgarian split squats because they're like, the way it looks to me isn't ideal and they're not maximizing the muscle tension and the mind muscle connection, they don't feel that actual burn. It's like, okay, we're not going to do that, but maybe they can do just like a normal split squat, right? And that they feel, right? That really burns. So yeah, we're going to do that instead. All right, so you're finding exercise that are actually more ideal for someone versus just like putting on your own, like no back squats. Trust, bro.
It's like it's just like get away from the big weights.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like the ones you could like add on like plates.
Yeah, you don't need to be hell bent on a philosophy, right? There's some people that actually their deadlift form is beautiful, it's perfect, and like they really feel it. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna deadlift. Yeah. Right. So each client that I train is so different and unique that there's no like one size fits all.
Does that make
approach.
it more fun for you though?
Of course, because you're just like, okay, it's problem solving, right?
And you learn it yourself.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this person actually can't hinge properly without the lower back rounding. Even no matter what we do, there's always going to be some sort of hindrance. Yeah. Right? So it's just like, okay, let's not make them deadlift. And if we do, let's put a lift up, right? And there's other hamstring exercises and other stuff that they can do. Right, so let's figure out what the exercise that they're really damn good at, and let's do more of those. Right, so
All right, last thing, your current journey. You're a fitness trainer.
Yeah.
Is there plans to expand to anything? Is there is it going to be more Coach B facilities around BC, the world, or what? Or is it
right now? I'm just enjoying what I'm doing right now. I don't feel like I'm not thinking too far ahead of this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I'm just enjoying the process. That can change very quickly, though. Yeah. Right, very quickly that can change.
Opportunities come out of nowhere.
Opportunities come, and what I want to do can change and stuff like that. Right, so I think right now it's just I'm happy and I'm at peace doing what I do, and that's like ideal for me, right? But that very much easily could change very quickly, and expansion can take place, right? So it just really depends where I'm at. I want to be true to myself, right? So whatever that looks like, I'll do that.
Do you plan on doing we've seen people obviously your former co-workers, I guess, co-founders, running marathons or triathlons, or is it or not even just that, like maybe you want to start playing. You know, you play ball, so you want to play like round ball, for example, or go back into soccer eventually and maybe play like a.
Well, I actually played round ball like 2012 and 2013, but I mean, I think it's just more so just for fun now, right? Like it's just like
whatever feels right.
Whatever feels right. Like I'm gonna be true to myself, and it's like I'm gonna start doing more of that, right? So it's just like in the summer I played a lot of ball at the cage, right? Tamanama's cage, right? So, right, so I played a lot of that ball. Well, me and Joban were supposed to play today before the game, but
we'll get into that. We'll get into that for sure. Okay,
5 years in the making, bro.
Let's get into the fun stuff now. First, before we get into that, like we mentioned, Jazzy B, your Chacha, Nephew, Petit Chacha. How often do you get annoyed, or someone is like, "Yo, Pardeep, let me meet your." Do you get that? Let me meet your Chacha, or whatever the case
happens.
is.
You know what's crazy part? I like a lot of times I don't even like say it. They just find out.
Because I didn't know till I saw when I first met you guys. It was through Instagram. And I've seen him at Nation a couple of times. But I was wondering. I'm like. Because I don't want to be that guy. Even me bringing this up now, I feel weird about it. I just I just bring it up just as a joke because I'm sure you probably because we don't know anyone that is related to someone that famous. He's a Rajabi superstar, right? At the end of the day. So how often do you get like?
It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
So can you get him on?
We'll see, man.
I'm kidding.
It happens all the time, man. It's just like, but it's like.
Do you get
you're just used to it now. It's like my whole life has been that.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a point in my life where it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Right?
When did you
know what I mean?
find out like, because obviously he's famous like that. But when did you find out like, okay, he's actually famous? And did you use that as clout at school, like elementary school?
I don't think I've ever used it as clout. But people just kind of find out through the grapevine, like through people and stuff like that. I don't know, like they just find out. I don't think it's my cha-cha. Like it's just it's just not like it's different from being on this side.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people can relate because it's not like it's an ego thing for me. It's like, I'm fucking, Jazzy's nephew. Look at me.
Yeah.
It's like it's not that at all, right? It's just like I want to be my own person.
Yeah, no,
right?
for sure.
Like you have to be. And that keeps you humble too, right? Because so many people do get caught up in that stuff, right? It's like, oh fuck it, we're so much better. It's like, nah, that's not the case. Right? It's just like. Yeah, it's crazy just to see him progress too as a human being because it's like you have to stay humble.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing to do is when you have millions and millions of fans.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's not an easy thing to do, but he's always like straight true to himself. And if he ever did like get caught up or slip up, he's always able to return back home to who he really is.
Yeah.
Right? Like he doesn't have to like be anything that he's not. And I think that's the biggest thing. He's just true to himself, right?
Yeah.
So just like growing up, seeing it, like you go to the stores, you go to the mall with them, you know someone's gonna come up to him, ask for a picture. Like that's just like you're gonna go to Walmart, you're gonna get like it's just a part of the experience of being around him, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, no,
right?
For sure. Because like I'm interested because we're interested because like we haven't met someone that famous and we're friends with that person too.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe as a joke, you're probably like my chacha's a singer. Like when you're like 4 or 5 years old, telling friends.
Yeah.
Or like so you realize that like when did you?
So I was like his biggest fan, man. I used to like sleep with his like cassette tapes and all that stuff, right? It's just like I just had a natural bond with him.
Yeah.
Like he just like
on top of that he's a sports guy too, right?
And
like
he's a sports guy. He just kind of took me everywhere and stuff like that. So there was just always that natural bond with him, right? It's just kind of like, he wanted to go to the mall, he would just take me.
Yeah.
Right? And we just go and just kind of walk around and
just
stuff
a cha-cha patija thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've seen him get swarmed? Or was it just like one or two?
I don't know if like swarmed. It's just like sometimes it happens. It's not like hundreds and
come around running.
It's like, it's just a part of it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like it's a part of the experience and you have to be okay with it, right? Just being on this side is just like it is. You accept it.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you been starstruck by someone that you've that is met like through him? Like for example, you've I think you posted a picture about Kuldeep Manik.
Yeah.
Right?
So I
stuff like that. Like have you?
Like
been
I was really young when I met him, right? I was like 9-10 years old, so I didn't know I knew like he was a big time singer, but I didn't know the significance of him until like
later on.
I got older, right? And I got pictures with him and stuff like that. It's kind of cool looking back at that, right? But I got funny. Jazz was starstruck Jazz Johal was starstruck by my chacha ji. Right? Like he so basically my house, my grandpa's room was in the corner of the house, right? And Chacha ji's room was like, I don't know if my hand will be able to show. His room was right beside him essentially. Right? Chacha ji was in the room. Jazz was, because Jazz was friends with my brother too, right? So they're actually the same age, so he would come over after school. This is in high school. Right? And he's on the computer. This is with like desktops and stuff, right? So he's on the computer and he looks right and he sees him. And he's like, this is just this, he sees this gold aura, is what he described it as. And then he just looks straight at the computer in just shock. that is like, I haven't experienced something like that. But just hearing what happened to him, it is so funny now that I look back at it. It's like, shit, like that actually happens to people.
It's funny because when I did see him at Fit Nation, and I messaged him, or I see him at home, I'm like, because in my head I'm like, okay, it's Jazzy B. When am I gonna see him? But at the same time, I just kept it cool. But it's like, dang, when we're in this sports podcast industry, maybe we meet someone, Canucks player, whoever. For example, it's like, how would we react? Because we have to be professional. But because I understand, like, to your point, because you've seen it. Like, so LeBron was in Vancouver. Apparently, where I work currently, he was just down the street. And one of my co-workers, my friends, that I saw him outside, and I'm like, well, did you go up to him or what the case is? Like, he's like, no, because like it's tough, right? Like you understand they're like if they're at a restaurant, you don't want to swarm them, but then they understand it too. So it's pretty funny.
It's crazy because it's like on one level we understand, they're just a human being. No one's superior or inferior. But the other thing is like, yo, there's fucking LeBron James.
Exactly.
Like, yo, that's LeBron. They just have an aura about them, right?
Yeah.
Like that you could just feel. You're like, yo, that's fucking LeBron
James.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I saw Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
Like, I don't know what
I definitely would have been. I would have been starstruck if I saw Kobe. If he was. For sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like if. It would be weird. I guess you have to be at the spot to realize, like, do I go up to, like, I want to be like fangirling, running and like, yo, can I get an autograph? I would love to have a conversation, maybe like handshake, be like, hey, what's up? I'm a huge fan of yours. Are you able to sign this? Like, you can't be like, a dick about it either. But you
don't want to inconvenience them either. You just kind of want to be respectful about approaching them as well. Right?
Exactly.
There's like a fine line where it's like you got to respect their boundaries, but you also like want to shake their hand or take a picture with them. Like I saw it's a fine line.
When Travis, I think it was Drake concert here and Travis Scott was here, I saw a clip, I don't know, it was one of my friends or whoever, a Snapchat story where they just walked right in front of them. They're like, what the hell do I do type of thing, right? So it's hilarious. But that was interesting because I definitely wanted to ask that, like, what is it like being on that side, on the other side of being related to someone that famous?
100%, man. It's a lot different than like how outside people view it and how I view it, just two different things, right? So but I understand the outside perspective as well. For sure. Like you understand why fans are like that. And you're like, yo, but that's just my chacha too. You know what I mean? So you understand both perspectives.
Speaking of that, you, your brother, and him have a foundation, right? The Shotee Maa Foundation?
We started that for my grandma because like her spirit was like a nurturing spirit. Like people would come to the house just to sit and talk to her, and like, she made people feel so seen and heard. And it was like when I left Fit Nation, it was just felt so right to open that foundation up for her. And I was like, there's no better people to do it than my brother and Chacha, because one, they were so close to her, and my brother was like she like raised him, right? So it was just like, it felt so right, and it was an emotional thing to do that too, right? So it felt so right to just honor her and her legacy and what she represented and how she was like, right? And how she was really like, right?
So what do you guys do? You can promote it as well if people want to donate, or if you guys are still running it.
So basically what we did, we raised funds so we can help homeless people and homeless shelters and all that. But now it's changing, like where I'm thinking about, like, evolving into like how can we help more kids who are at risk for mental health risks and stuff like that. That's where I want to take it. But it's just like these are stuff that like we still have to talk about it and collectively as a group, and where direction we want to go and stuff like that. So it's like a ever evolving thing, because you just don't want to do something that's not true, and that's not really just like you just help for a bit, and then that's it. You kind of move on from it. We want something to lay a foundation down that like lasts for forever, right? And that's kind of like where we're at. We just don't want to rush into anything now. It's like, yeah, we did that, we honored her, and now it's like, what do we want to truly do with that money, and like, what do we want to open up where we can help people and on different levels, like on the survival level of feeding, but also on the other level of like healing emotional wounds or mental wounds, right? So it's just kind of like bridging all of it together, essentially, right?
So we'll, I think you have a website and there's an Instagram page. So we'll definitely link it down below for people to check it out. And then at the end, when you plug your stuff, they could reach out to you if they want to help in any way as well. Okay, for sure. All right, let's get to the stories, the fun stuff.
There you go.
You had a story earlier you wanted to bring up?
Oh, yeah. So
about me, apparently. I don't know what this is about.
Amrit, when he lost weight.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you guys remember the before and after picture. Okay. Of him. So I want you guys to put the actual before and after picture up.
I don't know if I have it, though.
I have it. I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
So you guys can put that picture up, okay? So I was running the Fit Nation nutrition account at that point.
Yeah.
Right? So I was just posting before and afters, how we got there, all that stuff, right? Process stuff.
Yeah.
I posted his before and after picture. The before picture is him smiling and all that, right? And then the after picture, he's like super lean. He's got glasses on, but he's like, he's not really me mugging, but he's not smiling or whatever the case is, right? And someone comments, right? I was like, fuck, what is this comment?
Yeah.
He's like, he looked so much happier on the before picture than the after picture. I was like, shit. He's like smiling and all that. I was like, balitted it. And it was like someone from India, right? Because back then, like Instagram would reach a lot more people. Right? Like you could reach like 10,000 people just like that. Right now, it's a lot different. So there's like a lot of random people just seeing your stuff, right? So it was so funny just to see like his perspective. That guy's perspective was like, oh, he was so much happier before than after.
I think people gotta realize. I think you told me to smile on the first one.
I don't know.
I think it was that. Okay, so the one that I remember was here. So this is something I brought up with Ben too, because we talked about this. And the funny thing was because we were talking about hate comments in general, and I'm like, even now that we got some hate comments. To the podcast, which is normal, whatever, we don't care, right?
That's part of
So I'm like, I'm immune to it, and I was sharing that story with Ben too, and I know we've talked about it at that time. I'm like, I think it was the first month where I set the record for the inches lost or whatever, and I had the belt and whatever.
The belt,
the belt. And I don't know, whoever runs the normal Fit Nation account, I don't know if it was you or Ben or Jazz or whoever, they posted that one. And I know the one that you're talking about is the one where I lost more weight like a couple months down the line, like 3 months down the line. The first month one was, it was like, all the comments were like, there's no difference here. There's no difference. And I remember you guys coming up to me like, I hope you guys don't take it personal. I'm like, no, I'm good with it. And that was the one I saw where I was like, I'm already used to the hate comments anyways. But it was like the picture difference was one is closer, one is further. There was no big difference. Blah blah blah. He had some people at school
say the same shit.
Say the same crap. Like, and they knew that I was his brother too. And then him and his other friend defended me in that sense. But that's the. I thought you were gonna refer to that one. No, that one,
Not that one.
I didn't see that one.
That one was just like, you're
there were just people.
Trolls, man.
Exactly.
Right?
Bro, were you happier like that?
Were you actually happy? Okay, well, here's the thing, right? To be fair,
aloo potatoes, they got cut out.
Okay, now to be honest, I'm back to that when I first started. So I need to get back on that. Whatever I did. I guess at the time I was definitely motivated. Because
you'd show up, man.
The story. You know what? I'm gonna direct this question to you because I have a question about it. When it comes to, I'll ask you the question. I'll share my story, and then I'll let you answer your perspective. And you're training. You're a trainer. Have you ever felt like a hypocrite where you were telling, for example, us what to do, and you weren't doing it yourself, or your current clients what to do, or clients in general, but you weren't doing it yourself? That stuff like that. So my story is how I ended up actually contacting you guys was. I'm coaching his soccer team. I'm coaching another soccer team, and I was just like helping out Joban, for example, and some of his teammates. And obviously, I'm making them run. I'm out of shape completely. I'm like not close to what these guys are doing. I think obviously people were saying some random guy that I knew through someone else was like, oh, you should join them, join in with them. And I'm like, in my head, this is how I was talking myself out of and stuff. Was like, I'm making these guys run because I don't want them to be like me. But whereas I'm just doing what I'm doing anyways. So that stuck with me. And then I was going through other stuff at home at the time. And that's when I contacted you guys because I saw you guys' ads on Fit Nation ads on Instagram, and I had a couple of people that I know from family friends side that went to you guys. So that's how I ended up doing it and did all that. Now, was I happier before or after? Sure, the food made a difference because I was like, the food aside, but outside of that, like I said, flexible eating helped in that sense, right? So for you, no, did you ever have that experience where you were?
I think there's always a part where it's like sometimes your body just needs a break, or you just need a mental rest, where you just give yourself a month or two off, or whatever the case is. But it's not like you're being a hypocrite. You're coaching. You're helping. You're like that's like I'm not playing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like is Bill Belichick in the best shape in the world? No. Is he in like decent shape? Probably is, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like just because like you're out of shape or whatever the case, it doesn't mean you're a good coach or you don't know what you're doing. It's like can there be a bald barber? It's like, just because the person's bald doesn't mean they're not talented at cutting hair. Or whatever the case is, right? So it's not like there's no hypocrisy there or whatever the case is, right? It's just like there's a lot of blockages as to reason why people aren't working out at that time, right? It's just like some people are like, going through some shit where they just can't do it. Like they don't have the energy to do it and stuff like that, right? So I don't think it's like hypocritical or anything like that. I've never felt that. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So whereas
I've had times where I haven't worked out for like a month.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like I just needed a mental break from working out. It's like, I'll get out once I'm in it, I'll be fine. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I wasn't going for walks. I wasn't like eating like properly and stuff like that. You're still doing those things and whatever the case is, but it's just like sometimes you just it's just not there, right?
Yeah. I guess for me it was the case where I'm like, I'm telling this guy to run. Yeah. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Whereas I'm the one who's completely out of shape. I'm not I wasn't a good player as him or any of the guys, but in my opinion, I knew the game well enough to coach. But no, it's fair. That's an interesting
the other perspectives,
question.
People say, "Oh, practice what you preach" and all that.
That part.
It's not like you haven't or done. It's like I do it. I have done it. I will do it, and I'll get there. It's not like you always have to be doing it too, right? So if I want to take a break, like a couple weeks from weight training, it's like I'll do that just to give my body and joints a chance to recover and recoup, right? Yeah. So it's just like, am I a hypocrite at that point, or am I just like, you know what I mean? Like, at what point
taking
does
a
it
break,
end, or start? So
All right. Now, story time. A question for you. What was your reaction when you saw the four of us, my mom, my dad, Joban, and myself, come to Fit Nation? It's the same I'm gonna ask this to eventually when we bring on. I'll reach out to Jazz as well. We want him to on. We asked the same question to Ben. We gotta ask you
the starstruck thing for.
So what was your reaction seeing like a whole family come in to the point where you guys had to create a family plan as well?
It was like because each person was so different. My mom had a unique case. Right. Like she had to be like she couldn't freaking squat with the bar in her back. She had like knee issues. So her situation was way different. Joban's was way different. He was playing soccer, so you have to train him accordingly to that. Your situation, you were trying to lose weight. Right? Your dad's situation was way different. So each situation was so different, and you're trying to tie it all in together. Right? And that was the fun part, where it's just like kind of seeing you guys interact and creating that family environment. It's like, how can we bring out more of that fun out of them too in that environment? Because well, I think it was like a 7 to 8 class. I think it was.
So like
Monday, Wednesdays from like 7 to 8. That was a fire class. It was like a party. Right. And it was like that atmosphere that was created at the time. You guys made it fun. Right? You guys like joking around with Joban, taking like shots at each other and stuff like that. Right?
You were like coming in.
You know what's crazy though? He's so much more talkative now. He was so quiet back then. Right?
Yeah, he is. No, for sure with him. I would say in general we're both very introverted. We're similar in that sense. Like we're homebodies and stuff like that. But once we're comfortable with someone, you'll hear the talk. Especially in a group setting, I'm still more quiet. For example, if it's just the three of us, then off camera we're joking around earlier. We'll probably joke around more when we're done recording. Even right now, he on the other hand, like I'm not a group chat talker in a WhatsApp group chat or whatever group chat. He is now like he flipped it. Like he talks so much, and I'm like, I did not see that out of you. More so than me for sure. Like I'm not the one that talks much. So you're right.
Like everyone, like once you get comfortable with a guy, you're gonna joke around more, right? It's like just how it is.
That's how, because like in Fit Nation, that's how we got along too. Like you were joking around with my dad at times, even when you weren't training, like you weren't his trainer. With us, it's like, yo, so you catch that? What's wrong with the Lakers? Or the Raptors, for example.
Raptors versus LeBron. We're always talking shit.
Toronto, man.
LeBron was real.
So yeah, it was cool seeing that, and just like seeing like your guys like evolution, like Joban, like we were just talking about right now.
Yeah,
like he was quiet back then. Like even when he would speak, it wasn't like very loud or anything like that. Like now he like expresses himself, and he doesn't like he's not afraid to be himself. Or, not that he was afraid then. Yeah, I'm just saying that he just really like puts it out there now, which is good, right?
Yeah,
that's what you need, right? So.
To the point where it's you guys have a little rivalry that has never.
We're supposed to play a basketball game before the podcast. Before the pod.
6 years in the making.
6 years in the making.
6 years.
It's like I don't know if the track. I think you guys purposely set it up this way so we play after and not before. So
listen, I'll record if I have to. I'm not in this. It's you guys. I don't know how it started.
We were talking shit then. The difference then and now. I'm probably a worse player now. I'll say that.
And I'm probably a better player now. I'm smarter and understand it more.
I have the size advantage now. I would say.
Yeah.
Back then, probably I wouldn't.
And all that stuff. Man.
I would say this much. He's not being biased here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't seen you play much. I can't say anything. Right. One-on-one's also different from team.
I'm better. Way different.
Yeah. For example, I feel like. Defensively though, he's a lockdown for sure. I'll say that he's a lockdown in that sense. Like he has the
borderline fouling, but street ball.
Street ball, right? Grabs a couple of in there, man.
But yeah, I feel like he's a lockdown. He's a streaky guy.
Very streaky.
If his first 2 shots fall, even if you have a hand in his face, he would usually get him. Like he'll get him in. Like I'll look at it, I'm like, how is that possible, right? But his finishing is terrible. That's my scouting report to you. You could give him a free layup and he might miss.
I might miss
lay off of him. He's a scouting report.
The scouting report is not go for a layup and he might miss.
Treat him like Russell Westbrook on the Lakers.
Exactly.
No, actually not really.
No, the opposite.
The opposite.
He's a good finisher.
No, what I'm saying is I'm gonna lay off you. I'm gonna let you shoot, and I'm gonna force you to come into the. Well, if I'm laying off you, I'm forcing you to shoot.
Oh, okay. So you're testing a shot, but
I'm testing a shot. So
okay,
if it comes in, I'm ready. Like I'm ready for.
Because either way, even if you give him a free layup, he might miss.
Yeah.
At times, I get that.
The thing with me
just
is,
gotta fake.
I like playing with the team environment more because me personally, I'm more catch and shoot. Whereas like I can't really. Like one-on-one, you have to create your own shot all the time. Whereas like
I think 3-on-3 is my probably favorite. I like 5-on-5 too. One-on-one is cool. It's all good, but 3-on-3 is just the team aspect of it. It's one-on-one aspect of it and team aspect of it. So the cutting and the screening and like the coverages you're playing, it's just so much fun, man. Figuring out that shit, right?
So what's the plan then?
Well, we gotta make it happen. Right?
Oh yeah. We gotta
it's been like 6 years.
It's been 6 years.
You guys gotta post it on your channel.
The
game itself, right?
You gotta make a video. All
these cameras that you gotta bring them outside.
1v1.
How are we gonna edit this?
I have no idea.
There's no editing. You just straight.
I don't know how to record.
What if it's like straight? Like
no, you gotta hold the camera.
2 hours of you guys just making
the camera like this.
2 hours of you guys just missing shots.
If it is, it's 2 hours long. It's 2 hours long.
That's the part where you edit out.
You gotta drop like beat drops, and every time I make a shot, instant replays. Every time I make it, every time you make it, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Just show all my misses. Not
yeah. I'm in control.
He's in control. He's the editor. So, okay, getting back.
Pardeep's actually shit at basketball.
All right. Another story. Funny client experience you have that could be either positive or negative.
Funny client.
If you have any, like, did you have people that think they're know-it-alls and you're their client, or the other side of things, maybe a positive impact came out of something?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like positive impacts.
Okay. That was funny.
Like that. Well, I don't know if it's really negative. It's just like a part of the experience. So my thing is just like be yourself, like have the full human like element aspect to it, like like don't like hide stuff. If you're gonna burp, whatever, right? If you're gonna cry, just like if you're not feeling well, just cry, whatever. Do what you need to do. We'll still get the workout down, right? I had one client. She was like split squatting, whatever, right? Doing the full split squats, and I don't know how much it weighs. She farted, right? I was like, and to other people, it, like she was getting like feeling awkward or whatever, right? But as soon as I said like, yo, it's okay, it's whatever, it's normal. She was at ease. Now imagine if I made her feel like, you know, try to embarrass her there. She would never like, she'd be like, oh, I can never come back here. That's so embarrassing, right? But as soon as you allow them to just have the real human, like that's a normal part, right? You know how many people hold their farts in?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they're scared to be embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Right? But it's like that part is it's like a whatever thing that maybe people be like, whatever, but it was actually significant in the sense that she was like, oh, I can actually just completely just, I don't have to hide anything of myself, whatever. But that's just like one story. There's clients that have cried, have shared like very vulnerable moments. You allow them to have those moments, right? Like whether it's an emotional, mental thing, it's just like that's just a part of it, right? So you get when I'm saying you get the full experience, you get the full experience,
yeah, exactly,
from people, right? And you want them to just have that experience.
I think the time Pardeep almost made me cry is when he told me to do 10 sleds.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, really?
No, it's funny because like, I'll leave this to it.
Yeah.
Have you ever made anyone? Sorry, before I get to that question, has anyone ever called you out on a lift off your client or anyone?
A lift off, like
You're just like,
lift
how
more
much
than
could you bench?
You know what happens a lot of times is like when I make clients do split squats, they're like, oh, we're gonna make a workout plan for you, and you're gonna have to do the workout that you make us.
Yeah.
All right, man, that's gonna be pretty brutal, but okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a part of it, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like I feel like it's just like there's just it's always gonna be that, right?
So have you ever made anyone throw up? Because before you go, because there's one time I did.
Yes.
You just didn't know about it. It was like it was like my first 7 o'clock with you, and
Yeah.
it reminded me because it was after a sled session too.
Yeah, that's just like, I think
Just normal.
you try to be careful of how much you push.
Yeah.
Initially, like their first session, if they're like completely like a beginner or whatever the case is, and they do that session, like there's a higher risk of them feeling nauseous,
Which was me.
and puking, right? So you try not to push it too much. That's why I always ask, like, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Like now, I really like am big on that. Like, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? If they're like pushing like a 7 or 8, that's like that. Okay, that's it. That's good enough for today. But yeah, that's just like a part of the experience, man.
Normally, it's funny because like you would train us, so it's like, all right, 5. You're doing 5 squats, for example, off a plate or whatever. It's like we're on the 4th one. He's like, okay, you got one more, go. 5th one, you got one more, go. I don't think in the middle. I don't know, I'm like, bro, I thought I was mentally prepared for 5. You're making me do like 8 out of nowhere. Or the bench, same thing. It's like you're standing there, like you lift it, and you're like, all right, you got one more. And I'm like, you. In my head, I'm like, you dumb.
Like, what the hell, dude?
And then obviously the hype up after is insane, like between all you guys at that time.
Yeah,
but
it's just like, I think it's just like you're trying to push it to the edge, but not go over the top.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just kind of like a fine line,
like
right?
Squatting like one more, I was like, yo, bro, I don't think I'm gonna get back up.
No, this is it.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it, man. I'm
It's
not
over
going
for
back up. It was a good run.
Yeah.
Dream athletes you would like to train.
Dream athletes I would like to train.
I know you guys had Jinder Mahal at Pit Nation. I'm not sure if you were there. I know Ben said he trained him.
Yeah, Ben trained him.
And then obviously you had your Chacha, you trained him, which is normal. But like anyone that you, I'll ask too. Dream that you would like to train that you've never, and anyone famous that you have trained or whatever the case, athlete wise or celebrity wise.
Is it like, I actually don't really give a fuck. Like, as long as I can help you.
Okay.
If you're a human being.
Okay, so no political answer. If there's an athlete you would love to train.
It would be LeBron.
Okay.
But like, I
you don't care. I know. Because you and Ben give the exact same answer there.
I actually don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't see as anyone like, this is person's like this. And
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'm just going to train you, bro. Like,
we ain't political though. We ain't political.
There's like celebrity athlete. I mean, trainers that train a lot of like celebrities and stuff like that. But that's just the market that they're in, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know if it like happens. That'd be cool, I guess.
Listen,
it's just like,
we're not political answer. We wanted a strict answer. I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know.
Political. I genuinely.
I know.
Yeah.
No, it's just like it's funny because like I said, Ben had the exact same answer, and I'm like, I get to the aspect, but like. I'm sure there's someone that you're like, if Matt, like a dream thing
I mean,
was,
like,
it was LeBron.
Like, I want you to be my trainer. It's like, all right, sounds good, bro.
Like, don't ask me twice.
No, don't ask me twice, bro. I got you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
all right.
I think,
before we get into sports talk, especially with ball, gym myths that piss you off.
Oh, man, there's so many. Well,
like a myth that you see.
Weight training makes females bulky. It's like we don't understand like the basic like physiology and anatomy and like how energy deficits work and stuff like that, right? Like I have lost like 25 to 30 pounds and I'm lifting pretty like heavy weight.
Yeah.
Right.
That was same with me back then.
And it's like I lost 30 pounds and it's like does that only apply like to females? It makes them bulky if they like does that not apply to men too? Like,
Yeah.
Why is it only apply to them? No one can actually bring the science to it and stuff like that. So I would say that one is just like
That's the biggest one.
that's a huge one, right? Like that stops so many females from actually lifting weights and stuff like that, right? So that's a huge one. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, like
you can
stunts growth.
stunts growth, like.
Kids
Like,
should not be
on,
lifting
man.
barbells.
Yeah, kids shouldn't be lifting
and then,
barbells.
I
There's
think
so many, man.
The one I hear a lot was like cardio kills gains and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a fine line. It's like how much cardio are you doing? Like what are you doing in terms of
Like
cardio? It's like
It depends on your goal, right?
Depends on
Like,
your goal.
Exactly.
That's it.
Like you're not gonna be a jacked marathon runner.
If I'm gonna be like a bodybuilder, powerlifter, I'm probably gonna do different types of cardio, like more so walking and all that stuff, right? It's dependent on the dosage of how much you do and stuff like that, right? So
Reaction to teenagers that are no legs, all upper body.
no
like
legs,
is it just like lack of awareness, or is it just like that? That's what
I think.
That's what they think it's cool.
They think that legs are too hard.
Yeah,
like people are like scared of leg day. Like I find it fun because it's challenging.
Yeah.
Right, but they're actually like genuinely afraid of doing leg day. Right, so
and it's all chest. That's what everybody.
Yeah, sometimes like
bro, chest 5 times a week, man. That's it.
Like throwing the arms.
Yeah, couple biceps.
Couple biceps. And then go back to chest the next day.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's what like people could see, right? So it's just like they just kind of get caught up in that, right? That
Also, how much
thing.
is like bench is their favorite exercise? So like, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna do whatever I like to do. Type of
I just feel like the
thing is,
popularity.
like,
that's the popularity contest.
Yeah.
How much could you
Yeah.
bench? Like, everybody asks, how much do you bench? How much do you bench?
The thing is, like when your legs are strong, it actually helps your upper body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because you can leverage your legs. And
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff, right? So, yeah, I would say that's a massive one, man. Like freaking people doing that all the time, just upper body. But again, it goes back to the philosophy that they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know. They think that in order to get jacked, you just need to do upper body, whatever the case is. It's like, no, you need to do the full body as well.
Yeah.
Right? And it has a good balance.
All right, you ready for some basketball talk? I
Oh,
think you requested
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm really here for, man.
Yeah.
Too much about me.
Exactly.
Well, it's titled Pardeep Bains,
It's
so I
like-
wish.
Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, off the bat, let's go current season.
Yeah.
Who are your favorites this season? First of all, like the parity is insane, right?
I
like
think
back then when we met
yeah.
you, it was always like Golden State versus LeBron.
Yeah,
right? The Cavs, right?
and because Kevin Durant went there, so that
That too.
Yeah.
This year, it's like when we were doing like our
tier
list is already out,
Yeah.
but our prediction video is gonna come out
Is that
Tuesday.
a plug? You guys are plugging.
We'll
Yeah.
plug our stuff.
Tier
We'll
list.
plug our.
Plug our whole videos.
Our prediction video should be already out before this one comes out, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the parity is insane. Like when we're looking at it, it's like this team could win it all. This team could win it all. You see all the trades that happen in the off season.
Yeah.
So what's your reaction? What are your predictions? Who do you think is winning it all? Or NBA final, for example?
Okay, so if I had my top tier list, I have to go Nuggets because they're the defending champs.
Yeah.
Lakers, because you got LeBron and AD, you always got a chance.
Yeah.
Bucks, Celtics, and I might be missing one more team.
Suns.
The Suns.
Yeah.
So those are literally
But the
ours.
Suns are still a question mark for me because of one, health, and what are they going to do on defense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no chance regarding AD and Jokic. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
zero like chance of that happening.
Whereas 18,
In my opinion.
Whereas 18 could have done it.
Not
Nurkic is a little bit downgrade defensively for me.
Like they're gonna go pick and roll,
Yeah.
come up Nurkic every time
Yeah.
they're
Exactly.
gonna bring him up, right? They're like, all right, come on, try to guard this, right? What are they gonna do? They're gonna have to help off somewhere.
Yeah.
I get it. The Suns offensively are gonna be unreal
Their lack of
Right.
pure point guard play will probably hit there
at some point.
at some point.
It
'Cause
has to,
I
right?
the most underrated guy I've preached was Tyus Jones, right?
Yeah,
Because of his
he's so good.
in terms of like he doesn't have is more
Assist to turnover.
Yep.
Yeah.
turnover ratio is the best. The reason
Yeah.
why when Ja was out with all
Yeah.
the drama he had, the reason why the Grizzlies were like
Yeah.
second, and when Ja was injured the
Yeah.
year before, Grizzlies were second. So I feel like he's gonna be a hot trade target because there's no way he should be in Washington.
Manages the operation very well.
Yeah.
Right, he runs the team very well, and like he gets the most out of each set
Yeah.
that they're gonna run and stuff like that, right? So
Because that was a guy like the Celtics should have gone before Drew Holiday.
yeah,
But yeah. Speaking of that, the reaction, Dame trade. Finally, he's no longer in Portland.
yeah. So that's a big one, man. I think it's good because now you can't really help off Giannis too much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, help on Giannis too much. What are you gonna help from? Right? Is the other thing. Like he's gonna have snipers everywhere, right? I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, okay, if you double Giannis, where are you going to double from, right? And Dame is going to, what are you going to blitz Dame?
Yeah.
You're going to get the ball out of his hands. He's going to create an advantage somewhere.
And then you still have Middleton, Lopez.
And the Dame, Giannis pick and roll. Like, how are you going to guard it? And the like the off-ball actions. Like, what are you going to actually do to kind of contain that? And right? I'm sure coaches are smart, but it's just like it puts them in a predicament.
With that team, there's no like ego. I don't think they have egos either. Whereas like the Nets team did, minus KD, like with Harden and Irving together, there was like an ego-filled thing there.
The thing with the Giannis, you want shooters around him, and you added the second best shooter in the game,
100%.
And you added
not even just catch and shoot. Like he's literally
created his own shot.
Like he is like Steph, but not as good as Steph, unfortunately. But like probably the clutchest guy in the game. And then on top of that, he could pull up from the logo if he really needs to, right?
Yeah, and Giannis is not taking the final shot. It's like it's gonna be Dame,
have to, right?
Yeah,
and now you have two options. Like you could give Giannis the ball. Middleton is.
We haven't even talked about Middleton, right?
Exactly.
Like, I think Middleton is like, with his injuries, he is better suited for that
catching
third
third
option.
Right?
Like he can just kind of ease his way into it, and he doesn't really have an ego. He's okay with that, right?
Yeah. So. How annoyed were you when Bucks did win it on? They're like, oh, Middleton's the guy, and then Giannis comes out and drops 50. That final run.
I'm just like, Middleton, like he's really
he's a really good two,
he's
and
really good
if he's your three, you're a championship contender.
It's like Kyrie. He's one of the best twos.
I would consider
as a number one. I don't think he can do it.
He's a 1A, 1B. There's some players that are 1A and 1B situations. For example, LeBron, AD, Kyrie, LeBron. I think those are 1A and B. Tatum and Brown, I think, are 1 and 2. Middleton is not a 1A and 1B. He could be a 2 and an elite 3 to win.
But the thing is, like, Kyrie I love Kyrie. I think he's an amazing one-on-one player. But I don't think he can be the guy leading the team. You know what I mean? Like, he's not... There hasn't been a situation where he's actually
for sure
led
I feel like
the team.
I feel like
know what I mean?
You need to like 1A and 1B. I'm meaning like
the B,
because he's the B
can't exist without the A.
Exactly. So like definition that could be 1 and 2. A, but the problem is they both dropped like that 3-1 comeback. They dropped 40 each, 100%. Right? It's like, so that's why it's a 1A and 1B. Whereas like Jokic and Murray, when we were having the debate, I think they're
I said 1A 1B.
I said 1 and 2 because I'm like take away like. I think Murray, with the help of Jokic, is that great.
Takes it to the championship. Whereas the 1A can take you to like it could take you there, but I don't know if it could take you over the top. Right?
Yeah.
Like 1A can get you to the conference semifinals, conference finals, finals.
I guess
even like LeBron took it as far as he possibly could with the Cavs when Kyrie and K-Love were out.
Yeah.
Right. Like he took it out, but. He didn't have that second, like
when
1B, if you want to call it.
You need two guys.
You need two guys.
With AD, like with AD, it also depends on skill sets too, right? Yeah. Like AD and LeBron, like AD's skill set in that bubble finals run, the defensive side of things was massive, right? Yeah. Whereas like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are very similar-ish. That I can't consider them 1A and 1B. They haven't proven that they could get. They made the finals, but we saw what happened there. That it's interesting though for sure. Like because the 1A and 1B is like Dame and Giannis. They're 1A and 1B. I can't call Dame a 2.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the day.
Yeah, and because Dame has like he's been the guy.
Exactly.
And he's taken him pretty far.
And on the depth set chart, sure, Giannis is 1, Dame is 2, but like when you're playing together, I would say they're like a 1A, 1B because Giannis could have like a 20-point night, Dame will probably get you a 40-point night. And 100%. You flip that over. It's not like consistently Giannis will give you 50 and Dame is only going to give you 20. That's a 1 and 2. 1A and 1B is like you could interchange that.
I agree with that.
In that sense.
Like the A needs the B. But the B can't function
without
the high level without the A.
Exactly.
I hope that
That's
makes
my
sense.
point.
You know what I mean? Like Jamal Murray being back
helped Jokic propel for sure.
Helped Jokic propel because he didn't have to freaking do everything anymore. He still did a lot. At least he has another guy that could like do a lot. Like the shots that Jamal Murray was hitting.
Exactly.
You just couldn't miss.
So this
for the life of him.
I still think he's a 2. I'm still sticking with that. Like, I still think Jamal Murray's a 2.
Did you see the argument?
I saw it. It was crazy.
I still think Jamal's the 2.
So I still think. What would that team be without
I don't
Jokic?
think. Here's the thing. Exactly. So my point was.
My point
was Jamal let's just say there weren't many days where Jamal was like 50 point and Jokic was 20.
Yeah.
It was more the opposite. Yeah. Plus Jokic's playmaking and all that was there with it.
Jokic can dominate a game by scoring 17 points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he can just completely like control the game, annihilate the game.
I think because like
no problem.
Like I'm not saying Jamal, like we've seen Dame on his own. For example, Shea.
Yeah.
We've seen him on his own, but I don't think he probably needs like if you swap Shea and Jamal, play styles aside, I get that. I feel like that's more of a 1A and 1B because Shea has done it with OKC. Like, this quote right there. Yeah. What do you think of Canada basketball making the Olympics? I think and then Shea being that guy.
I think Shea is just he's
insane.
That guy, man.
He is that guy.
He's that guy.
He's him.
Yeah. Right? Like he's just that guy. So it's just like he can propel you and take you pretty far because his skill set is so vast. But he's also a team guy too.
I feel like that OKC move for him was the perfect thing.
Perfect.
He had Chris Paul mentor him the first year, and then
that's why Clippers didn't want to put him in that deal.
Yeah.
Right, because of that. Factor. Right.
So Canada basketball, the reported lineup right now is Shea, Jamal, Wiggins is supposedly could be back because there were talks about it.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks had a great FIBA run for sure.
He did.
The lack of bigs might hurt them. But do you think they could surprise some teams in the Olympics?
I think so.
Because unless USA brings out everybody.
Well, USA is going to bring out the.
They're going to bring out everyone, right?
Oh man,
exactly.
That's it, man. They're bringing out everyone.
But I think like the parity around, like, I expect Giannis and like Luka and all these guys just if they make it to play.
And also the league is so much like we were just talking about. The parity is so much better, significantly better, right? And I think that's what makes the league interesting this year. Again, it depends on health too, right? Like that is the biggest factor. It's like who is going to be healthy going into it. Like the Clippers' biggest problem was that, like they just haven't been healthy. Besides that 1 year in the bubble, Clippers always find a way to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
some teams just find a way to not get it done.
And it's not even their fault sometimes.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
it just
happens.
If you're injury prone, where do you fall on that debate in the injury prone? Like, listen, I'm wearing a AD shirt. I'm a huge Kawhi fan. They're both injury prone guys.
I think you know why AD's being nitpicked more because he's the Laker.
Yeah.
He's actually missed less games than Steph, KD, Kawhi. All these guys. Yeah. But since he's the Laker, if you talk about the Lakers, the biggest brand in the league, you're gonna get hits and clicks and all that. Like Stephen A. admitted that he does shit for entertainment a lot of times, right? So the reason they pick on AD more is because they know the viewership from the Laker fans and the hatred and all that is going to be there.
It's going to be there, yeah.
Not saying he doesn't get injured, but injuries aren't your fault.
Yeah.
Like, no one's purposely trying to go out there and get injured.
Yeah.
There's a certain point
so
where
factors.
There's a certain point where like, okay, you might have to try to move on from him. Yeah. But I'm like, he's so good. Like, if he's healthy, he's probably arguably a top 3 defensive player in the game.
He is the best defensive player in the game. Like, what he did in that run was incredible defensively. Like, he covers so much ground for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like, without them, they're not a functioning defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? They cannot operate because he's demanded so much on the defensive end. Offensively, it takes away from him sometimes.
At times, like,
he's required to do so much on that other end, right? And it's just like, I get people's like things like, oh, he's inconsistent on offense. It's just like, yeah, but he has to be consistent on the other end. Yeah. That's why they like Austin Reeves stepping up was crucial.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if Russell played to his, level. There even against the Nuggets, they were close a lot of times.
The games were close, but got away late.
Get over that hump.
Apart from game 1, the rest of them were pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
for me, like, yes, I agree with that with inconsistent offense, but like sometimes you just got to be that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Like
he does. Yeah.
Anthony Davis is that guy.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets criticized because you're supposed to be that guy and you're being inconsistent offensively. I have no issues with defensively.
He's easily a top 5 player if he is a consistent offensive player.
And the thing is, look what he did in the bubble, right?
Like,
like that was incredible. Not even just the bubble, that whole year.
Yeah.
He was incredible. Like people who
it was like that
really
Kawhi year when he wanted to prove people. That Kawhi Toronto year essentially.
Like he was incredible that year. Like, but it was also like part of it was he was playing the 4 more. Now he's expected to play the 5 more. Now you're like, you got to deal with big men all the time, right? That takes a toll too, right?
Yeah.
Like we think this like, oh, you should just be better. Yo, like you're freaking dealing with like 250, 260, 80 pounders that are freaking ripping into you. Like you're going to be exhausted, even though they're like the best condition thing. Not that I'm making excuses. It's just the reality of the situation, right?
The thing for me is that he's done it before.
Yes,
that's the biggest factor.
That's what's annoying. I'm a huge AD fan.
Yeah, because of that, I became fan of his. Yeah, and it's like, yo, you did that before. Yeah. What's like?
It's right there.
Kind of, you know, you're there, right?
You know, it's like, it's the craziest thing. It's right there. Yeah. If he can do that on a consistent, like his jump shot just went away.
Yeah,
abandoned him. Right. It just kind of.
It's gone.
No one knows what happened. Right. Like he was really wet with it. Even in New Orleans, even that first year in Lakers and all that. Even my thing is that second year, if AD doesn't get hurt and LeBron doesn't get hurt, they were gonna rip through that. They were the number 1 seed. It was the 2021 year, right?
Wait, was that the first?
It was after the
bubble. When we lost the Suns in the first. Suns.
They were unbelievable that year.
Because we played till October.
Then Solomon Hill had to freaking dive into freaking LeBron's knees, right? And the sprain, and he was gone for so long. It just like that team was perfect.
They were like
Marc Gasol was amazing. Like
I hated that
second
seed. People hated on Marc Gasol, and you guys might not.
I like Marc Gasol. I like the pick.
I saw what he did in Raptors. He's such a smart guy.
He's so smart.
Like, I hated the fact that I'm excitive for this year because we didn't have a turnover, like much turnover. Yeah. The turnover was Troy Brown Jr. for
Gabe Vincent,
which was an upgrade in my opinion. But that 100%. Back then we got rid of everybody minus like 4 guys. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Now the continuity's here. Man, we talking ball a lot.
This is a separate podcast.
Let's stick. We're still gonna talk some.
Okay.
Because I have a thing to end off it. But I feel like I could talk Lakers all day. Obviously.
Yeah.
But okay, so you mentioned that. Who are your top 5 all time that you have seen play?
Okay, yeah.
So don't say like Bill Russell.
No, I haven't seen Kareem play or Bill Russell play or Magic play.
See, like for me, it's like
I can only go off of who I saw.
Yeah, I hate the GOAT debate for that reason because I can't. I get it. In my lifetime, I'll say LeBron is, then Kobe too. Yeah. But those people saying, "Oh, Jordan," and that, I can't comment. Like Messi, Ronaldo.
So are we going like top 5, like
your top 5 of all time?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, your top 5 of all time that you've seen play.
Yeah. So like when the moment you started watching, basically,
it's LeBron and Jordan, are my like
1 and 2.
1 and 2. I don't know where
to put it.
I thought you were a huge LeBron guy. That's what I was. I didn't know you were a Jordan guy.
LeBron because he can do everything. I'm getting it all.
So is he your GOAT?
Yeah, he is my GOAT.
He's a GOAT.
Okay.
So the reason being, I'm getting everything from LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Jordan had to rely on Pippen for a lot of things that LeBron does.
Okay.
Right. When Pippen was there, he could handle the best defensive assignment. He could handle the playmaking. All that stuff. The rebounding. He was Jordan. Could focus a lot on scoring, and he could do that at the highest level. Jordan was an amazing defender, right? But LeBron was robbed of a defensive player of the year as well, right? Like LeBron could guard
from Marc Gasol.
From Marc Gasol.
Gasol was, by the way, a second team defense.
Yeah, he was second team. Like what LeBron was doing in his prime was incredible. Like he would guard Dwight Howard, but then he would go guard Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Right, like he could guard
Miami. LeBron is the peak LeBron.
Yeah,
everybody knows that.
Like that, like athleticism match. Like it was just that. Was like created. He was created in a lab.
Yeah,
like, that's what it felt like watching LeBron. Right, and I was hurt when he left Cleveland.
The first time.
Yeah. Right, and I was like, oh man, that wasn't cool. But now, like, I understand why he left. Like the Cavs team were absolutely
they were terrible.
Yeah,
dude, they were so bad.
It was actually really bad.
People were gaslighting themselves into thinking Mo Williams was a clear 2.
Yeah,
he was absolutely not. Like he would disappear in the playoffs, right? Like he would just be gone. Like that's what people were doing. Like and like that team was just never good enough, right? But yeah, LeBron, Jordan, Shaq.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah.
And then it has to be Steph, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we were gonna have problems if Kobe wasn't on there.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen because I so back in the day, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
They used to play a lot of Lakers games on TV, right? So Kobe would be on, Shaq would be on. Like that's the Kobe. Like those two were unstoppable, man. As a duo, like they're completely unstoppable. Like no one could stop them.
It was just the egos got the best of them.
Yeah,
egos got the best.
They say
of them
themselves
whatever,
like we would have won like 5 more if we stayed.
100%.
Yeah.
Like they literally like if Shaq like stayed in shape, like how Kobe stayed in shape.
Yeah,
it's over, man. Like
the one thing I respect with that is you're not really a hater.
No,
when it comes to the ball because you know how like Cavs fans probably hate Steph. Or Steph fans hate LeBron. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or Kobe and Jordan. For the longest time, I was like Kobe or LeBron all day, every day. And then until
even in high school, I was like that. But now it's like
until the 3-1 comeback, and I'm like, okay, it's time. Yeah, I get even like I know you might have different views on the KD move to the Warriors.
Oh man, that was the worst move.
Okay, so for me it was like, okay, I agree that he should have not been a Warrior.
Yeah.
I get the fact that why he left and all that.
That makes sense.
But the Warrior part, whatever. I'm like, if he feels like it was the best for him to do it, then you
obviously
got
you
2
can't
rings.
tell someone to do with their life.
Yeah.
But in terms of just like basketball as a fan.
Yeah.
Imagine watching those Golden State Cavs. Like what we got in 2016 was a treat.
Yeah.
Right? And we were going to get another one of those the following year.
Yeah.
Because the Cavs
100%.
were even better.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously they Golden State had cap space. They could have got someone really good.
Good, yeah.
And they could have improved their team too. But when you get Kevin Durant, that was just game over.
Exactly.
Like, it was
but you
over.
can't blame the Warriors for getting him either.
You can't blame them. They just did
they just
guaranteed themselves a championship.
Yeah.
Obviously
Exactly.
health pending.
Yeah.
But they pretty much did guarantee themselves a championship.
That team was like, even people were saying like, if they had just gone Paul George somehow, would have good enough to win a championship. KD just put him way over the top.
Way over the
Way
top.
over
It
the top.
was just it was actually not fair.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like
It
no
wasn't.
one could do anything. It's just like, what are you gonna help off Steph? What are you gonna help off Clay?
Clay,
Like, what are you
yeah.
gonna help? Like, you can't do anything, right? It was literally unstoppable, right? So
And
I think that
they
not
just-
ruined basketball.
Yeah.
But it
Those
took away that rivalry
4
that could
years.
have been.
Those were 3.
That's why now I love it.
Those
because
3
like,
years,
as
yeah.
much as I'm a
Yeah.
huge Laker fan, it's not easy for any
No.
team to win.
Like, what is
Like
it?
the Warriors winning was a big deal.
Yeah.
With Steph.
With Steph,
Yeah.
when
yeah.
won Finals MVP.
Yeah. So like since what 2019?
Ever since 2018, it was Cavs. Sorry, it was Warriors.
Yeah.
Raptors,
Yeah.
Lakers, Bucks,
Yeah.
Warriors, and now
And then
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Yeah. So it's just like it's way more. The parity is there.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just better for the game. It's just gonna go
Yeah.
so much.
Raptors revolutionized basketball by winning.
Oh, yeah,
They don't
did
need a
you guys have a
streak.
bet?
They did, man.
Didn't you
Yeah, I won the bet.
You won the bet? What was the bet?
I don't even know,
I
but I
think,
won
I
it.
think, I
I
think
don't
when the
remember what the
Kawhi,
bet was.
I think when the Kawhi trade happened.
No, we bet before.
No, it was after. I knew it was after the Kawhi trade.
No, because the reason I bet was because the 2018 is when the
No, because
No.
From what I remember, it was the
I was
Kawhi
like,
trade
yeah,
happened,
it
and
was that.
he
Okay,
said
okay. I don't remember
he'll
that.
win the
like, we're
championship.
winning this year.
And you're like,
Yeah.
no, they won't because the Warriors still
yeah,
existed.
Yeah.
And then I remember later that year, my cousin,
Yeah.
who's like, and I fear they hate Toronto in general.
Just like
Toronto
Toronto,
teams.
right?
The Toronto media, which is why
Yeah.
they hate the Blue Jays,
Yeah,
even though they don't care about baseball, and the Raptors. He made a bet with him saying, "I'll bet you that the Raptors won't win it either."
Yeah.
And obviously,
Exactly.
he admitted eventually after that health was the reason why.
Yeah, so
but
obviously,
Yeah,
that,
lucky.
that plays a role
Obviously.
every year.
Yeah.
though.
yeah.
Like,
I hate when people say
That's-
that's an asterisk.
It's not.
Injuries
like
are
how?
not an asterisk.
Okay, it's the way you build-
Yeah,
way
the
you build the
Lakers,
team.
COVID, and the Bucks winning, sure, that could be an asterisk
So-
because there were less games played
So
and different
here's why
factor.
it wasn't like I don't feel like anything is an asterisk.
Injuries
You
for me
just
are
play the
not an
cards that you were
asterisk.
dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you just play what's in front of you. You can't control the other factors. Like
True.
the pandemic, no one could control that. The Lakers were gonna. I feel like the Lakers were gonna win it.
I don't
anyways
view
that
the
year.
asterisk as a negative thing, though, as people
No.
make it. I say that an asterisk is there because something happened.
Something happened.
You just say,
Yeah.
sure.
For
and,
me-
and most of it's just from haters. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it's like the way you build a team. If you're building
Yeah.
your team around Steph and KD,
Yeah.
one of them gets hurt. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
not gonna be as good.
Because you don't have
No.
much depth after.
No.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
That's the reality of the situation. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
very quickly, your finals prediction. We didn't get that yet.
Oh man, that's. Let's go. Is it bias or non-bias? Is the real question. I'll go Bucks Lakers. Feel like that'd be an awesome finals, right? I feel like that's what's gonna happen. How about you guys?
For me,
Okay.
Bucks are there.
I think I had Bucks over
West,
Suns.
West
just
is
'cause.
tough.
Yeah,
West is tough.
Suns, like when I was looking at my list, and which we still have to record it,
Yeah.
but there's clearly bottom four teams,
Yeah.
and then the other 11 with the wild card.
Yeah.
It's like who's missing the wild card, and we will be surprised if the Suns miss and the Lakers and the Nuggets miss.
yeah.
But I'm just saying even for the rest,
Yeah.
like what are we getting from Dallas?
Yeah.
Is last year a fluke or is that the true Dallas?
Yeah.
right.
I
So,
feel-
if I'm biased, I'm saying Lakers, but
Yeah.
I said Bucks Suns.
Yeah.
Bucks over the Suns.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Probably Suns.
Yeah.
I'll go with Suns too.
I don't.
I
think
agree
the
with
Suns
you.
can do it.
I agree with you in
I
that.
don't know. I don't trust. them on the defensive end when things get tight and the nitty gritty comes in, because playoff basketball is just so tight.
Yeah,
for me, they have a lot of guys that can get their own when they need it to, but on the defensive end, what's gonna happen?
For me, it's just like, again, the 80 health factor, the LeBron health factor. Now there is the rule of the 65 game thing. I don't know how much that will make people play more because they want the award and play injured and cause serious injuries, or the flip side, are we gonna have like random ass people that will not make all NBA, all NBA, right? But for that reason, and then I don't know, I just have the weird feeling the Suns might. The Nuggets, I don't think they lost Bruce Brown. I didn't really replace him, but as good as Jokic and all that is, I'm not saying that, but they're still like a top 100%. Team. And I won't be surprised if a team like Dallas just ends up doing something. Or the Clippers, if Clippers are healthy, they could make the final easily.
My pick is Clippers every year if injuries didn't exist. Because to me, they're the most like well-rounded team.
They are very well-rounded. And when they are together, they play very well.
Kawhi, like,
besides,
for me,
obviously the
injuries,
bubble year where they were healthy and they just choked.
I just hate, like,
which was hilarious because they were talking so much shit. That year.
And then they're saying the bubble shouldn't exist because of the mental factor.
What is funny is like Pat Bev was saying that's like, check ball. He was saying check ball. Right. And then he was like, because it's funny when they say, initially they say check ball and then they backtrack. It doesn't fit their own.
For me, it's like
thing.
Back to the injury thing. It's just like, I can't blame Kawhi too much, but I get it. You get hurt a lot. Should they move on from him? That's a whole different debate. But because I know, like, we have cousins that say like, no, the Clippers need to blow it up, or because like they treat injuries like it's if they're injured, they're injured. Like, you can't control anything, and for any support. But then from the flip side, they're like, they gotta keep their body healthier, and I don't know how if that's the big factor. But all right, last thing before we obviously we've been going on, we can talk ball all day.
I don't even know how long it's been, but this is fun.
So you're
40 in.
You've seen the Derek pod.
Keep going.
Keep going.
You've seen the Derek pod. You've seen, right? We built a perfect soccer player. You're gonna build a perfect basketball player.
Okay.
So just I'll run through it quickly, then I'll go one by one.
No
after.
repeat answers.
Body height, then it's like body / height. That's one. Then athleticism, shooting, finishing. Interior defense, perimeter defense, playmaking, dribbling.
Body and height is the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then your IQ, and
no repeats. This is all
time.
All time, but people from the youth watch.
Name the first thing.
Body / height.
Let's go Giannis.
Okay. Athleticism.
Shit. LeBron.
Okay. Shooting.
Steph.
Finishing.
That's tough because LeBron's such. Kyrie.
His layup package is nice. Interior defense.
So finishing and layup package the same thing, or no?
Finishing layup.
That's
okay. So Kyrie. Sorry, go ahead. What's the
interior defense?
Interior defense. Can it be any player? Is it current players?
No, like anyone that you've
seen.
Play.
So that I've seen.
It could be current. Defense. It could be
retired
player.
Ben Wallace.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Perimeter defense.
What's his name? Tony Allen.
Okay.
Yeah. Playmaking.
Either Jokic or Luka. Let's go Jokic.
Okay. Dribbling.
Fuck, I should have just kept Kyrie.
I know. You can swap it if you want, but
you can swap it.
I feel like there's another easy answer.
There is. Let's go. Who's got an amazing? Crawford, Jamal Crawford.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go Iverson.
And last one, IQ.
I was gonna go.
IQ.
IQ.
Brain IQ.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, nice. That's fair.
Okay, or actually, let's go Rajon Rondo.
Okay. So
he's also Chris Paul.
So you got
seen that?
Yeah. So you got Giannis build basically. LeBron athleticism. Shooting of Curry, finishing of Kyrie. Ben Wallace, interior defense, perimeter defense of Tony Allen. Playmaking of who again?
Rondo.
Jokic.
Jokic. Dribbling of Jamal Crawford, and then IQ of Rondo.
Yes.
I add one more mid-range.
Let's go either Kobe or Jordan. Which one do I want to go with? Let's go Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the defense one was a tough. But like I was thinking, Drew Holiday, who I think is the most underrated player in the league. And defensively, or Kawhi for perimeter. Interior, obviously. Yeah. You have.
But the way I've seen
Tony Allen,
Drew Holiday got cooked by Jimmy Butler, it just kind of like took away.
Kawhi though.
Kawhi too.
Yeah. So should I do mine because like we're the biggest age gap?
Yeah, go.
So Giannis will be my body height. Athleticism, I'm going with either Derrick Rose or Ja Morant. So I'll go with Derrick Rose. Shooting, Curry. Finishing, I'll go with Kyrie just because it was between Kyrie and Westbrook, but I'll go with Kyrie. Interior defense, I'll probably go like Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Perimeter defense I'll probably go Kawhi Leonard's. Playmaking, I'll go with like Chris Paul's. Dribbling, Allen Iverson. And then brain will be like Chris Paul. I mean, did I say Chris Paul?
You said Chris Paul.
So then Rondo,
so if mine's similar to that, like wait.
What is the list?
Oh, mid-range? Are you going to go DeMar DeRozan?
DeMar DeRozan.
He's a master.
DeMar DeRozan is a
master.
Body height will be Giannis. Athleticism will be LeBron.
I didn't put LeBron in mine.
Shooting, Curry, mid-range.
I would have put LeBron.
I need to put Kobe in there, so I gotta put Kobe mid-range.
Oh,
interior defense, I'll go AD, and perimeter defense, I'm going Kawhi. Finishing, I'll go Westbrook. Handles, I'm going Kyrie. Playmaking, I'll go Rondo, and brain is gonna be Chris Paul.
So I'm the newbie. Basically, I'm the noob.
You're just you're exposed to.
I'm the noob.
But you put Iverson in there.
Huh?
You got Iverson though.
Oh yeah, that's because like 2K handles. I just spam the right stick. I just like.
That I feel like
We'll put it out there. We'll see who built the best player. We'll see.
If you're like
we'll just put yours.
We'll do all that.
You guys
we'll
gonna
cut that
make
out.
this into a short? Is that
Probably. We'll see.
Who built the best player?
Who built the best player? Who is the best player?
All right. So once again, we'll label it perfectly. You had Giannis as body or build. LeBron's athleticism. Curry's shooting. Jordan's mid range. Finishing off Kyrie. Ben Wallace interior defense. Tony Allen perimeter defense. Playmaking of Jokic. Dribbling off. Who's dribbling? Do you have? Jamal Crawford. The brain of Rondo.
Rajon Rondo. Is also Chris Paul.
You know
all right, Rondo.
We go on 2K. Build all our players.
See what happens.
See if you could carry a team of.
I mean, we have some overlapping ones though too.
There's overlapping.
There's so many overlapping ones.
But I feel like Giannis is like height and length. But I feel like we need to talk about Wemby.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
we haven't talked about Wemby.
We'll end off. Okay,
dude. This guy is an alien. Have you guys watched him?
The ball. The ball's like 12
Andrew,
feet in the air.
just take a 3-point shot.
You cannot get a shot off. It is not safe.
You cannot.
It's crazy. Him, he's an alien, and then you got a mini version of that in Chet. And everybody thought what would have been Bol. And Pokuševski, but more so Chet and Chet versus Wemby is gonna be insane. Just because their builds are like that too.
Wemby doing crossover, step back jumpers from the mid range at 7'4".
At 7,
dude, we're like I've never seen anything.
That's what you call a demigod you create in 2K.
Yeah,
that's a demigod.
That is.
He is
straight demigod, man. Like the blocking ability though.
It's nuts,
dude.
Bro.
Wiggins thought he had a safe shot.
Exactly.
Right, and he just. I don't know if you guys seen that picture.
I saw the picture.
I saw the picture this
morning.
That picture was
insane.
Incredible. Like that distance is like a free shot.
The only person close I saw was Zion, and when he was in Duke, he made that block.
But he's like
he's shorter.
His is more so leaping ability. This is straight length. Like he doesn't have to jump very high. Right. So he's not at risk for landing on someone's foot and all that. Right. Like that reduces his injury risk.
That's true.
We're talking about like injury risk. We talked about injuries. Like that reduces injury risk. He doesn't have to jump very high. Even like there was another play where Wiggins was in the corner and he like pump fake, tried to like dribble past him. Like he's like no, and he just got rejected in the paint.
It's so funny because I think he did a bad inbound pass. Inbound pass. And whoever stole it wasn't the Warriors. It was someone other team. They drove in and drove out.
Like, what can he do?
So like defensively, he's already changing the game.
Exactly.
Offensively, he's only going to get better once his like body gets strong. Like from the summer league to now, look how much better he is already. Right.
There's only one way to beat him. When you get the ball. Right. I get the ball.
You have to call him out on the perimeter and try to get past him.
No, not even that. Like I'm gonna get the ball, catch him. I'm gonna like chest pass it right into his like stomach, right? Get him all hunched over, get the ball back, then shoot it. That's the only way.
Offensive foul. You know what it is though. Like you know how you said that, like just try to blow by him. but he's so long
that he'll come back. You have to like Steph would have to do a pick and roll at half.
Yeah.
Or Dame would have to do a pick and roll at half, or LeBron or whoever.
You know what it is? They're not even gonna probably bring him up in pick and rolls. Like you can't pick on him.
This is where Jokic will be key. Because Jokic is a point guard, essentially. He will be at the perimeter all day.
Yeah.
If he's the guy on Jokic, now, yes, granted, he has to get past his length of the passing, but it's still like you could maneuver him on the side. But
it's perfect.
And he might be playing the 4.
The thing is, like, even if you get past him, he's going to reach over you and block it.
Exactly. Like, he's in a perfect situation. Like, Greg Popovich is there.
Yeah.
Like, Popovich is, like, the perfect person to just, like, bring him along, develop him. Like, look at what Tim Duncan and all these guys happened, right? So...
Yeah.
You guys looking over there like something.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Any more ball talk? Or you could call... we
could
go all day.
We can go all day.
If you guys want Pardeep back on, comment. And we'll I know you'll be happy to come on just to talk ball.
Straight, fun, man. Like, just straight,
straight NBA.
Straight NBA talk.
Straight NBA talk.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely look into it down the line when the season officially goes.
Especially,
as the season goes along, it'll be nice to just come in and talk. Yeah.
Okay. Last thing before we close it off officially, a couple of just you can face the camera for this one. It's just advice for younger coaches in general. It doesn't have to be fitness coaches, but fitness coaches and maybe athletes in general that are developing.
Yeah, I would basically like in terms of fitness coaches, I would say like or any sort of coach, it's just like don't make it about yourself. Make it about the people you're coaching because if you create an environment where they can strive and they can feel like they can be themselves and they don't have to hide parts of themselves or they feel like they're being supported, you're going to get the best out of them, right? And I feel like if you can do that as a coach, that is your responsibility is create an environment. The technical stuff, like everyone knows that stuff, right? Everyone knows the technical stuff. And, obviously some people know more detail than others. But that environment that you create matters so much so that it's the difference between someone thriving or not, right? So coaches have a responsibility to create such a good environment and get to know their players or their clients or whoever it is on a level where it's like at a human level, so they can feel like this person, I'll run through the wall for this person. It's just like if I'm supported like that. So even if you are like challenging them and stuff like that, you show them that you care too, right? By putting your arm around them, whatever you got to do. So that environment that you create matters so much so. And you'll get the best out of your players or clients, whatever it is, right? So, that's what it is.
Okay, last thing for advice, and this is where you could plug in your social media, however people could reach out to you. Advice for people that want to start working out but don't have like the knowledge or the confidence and they need some type of motivation. Now, it could be two ways. You could address it at people that might have the funds for a personal trainer and that don't have the funds for a personal trainer.
Yeah, I would say if you have the funds, reach out, like ask questions, right? Like find out who you vibe with and stuff like that because people have horrible experiences. That's a normal part of it, right? So find out who you vibe with and thrive with and someone who actually genuinely cares about you. That matters a lot. So if you have the means, obviously get a personal trainer because you want to learn the exercises correctly. If you don't know how to do them correctly, you're going to hurt yourself. Or not even just the exercise, but how to program. Like, we were just talking about like the squats and the bodybuilding, the splits and stuff like that. Learn the different splits and what is ideal for you, right? So that's what I would say. Just like, if you have the means, reach out to a personal trainer. If you don't have the means, you're fucked. Just kidding. There's a lot of good coaches out on YouTube, right? That you can follow. Like Brett Contreras is a really good one. Lane Norton's a really good one, right? There's a lot of good coaches. Like, you can follow my social media, Coach PB _. I don't know if I'm a really great coach, but it's just like I care about details. I want to give good information out so that you make the best informed decision when you go to the gym and things of that nature. So, yeah, I would just say that is the biggest thing is learn the movements in a detailed way as possible so you can reduce your injury risk so you can work out for a long period of time because the form is the main thing. If you can learn the form, everything else just comes after that.
Okay.
Right.
So as words of wisdom, Pardeep Bains. On his links, so his personal Instagram, his Coach PB Instagram will be in the description below, along with the Shotee Maa Foundation. So if you guys want to look into that and help out with their foundation, all that will be linked down below. Pardeep, It's been fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Long time.
Appreciate it. Long time.
Long time.
This is so much fun. I can't wait to just come on again and just
Talk ball this time.
Right?
Makes me want to start a podcast.
Hope you guys enjoyed his story. Like I said, if you guys want him to come back on, we'll bring him back on. Talk some sports strictly this time, or anything else that pops up. If you guys do something with the Shotee Maa Foundation and want to promote it, 100%. Feel free, reach out. We'll love to bring you on, help you promote that as well. For everybody else, and all his links will be down below. For everybody else watching, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.